Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are tonight's entertainment.
As to our promise, tonight's entertainment with Flick Friends.
Hello. I love the
one-on-one
intro.
kami
I
ni
love
Migo.
the intro.
So good evening, guys. It's a Friday evening, and as usual, actually may isang buwan na ako hindi nagsi-stream, so sorry about that. But life happens, and I know life also happened with Migo, so
Yeah,
there's
dude.
nothing wrong with it. And good evening to our people that's watching.
Good
Yung
evening.
mga fans ng Flick Friends. Tonight
Hello,
I have
hello.
my good friend Migo Delphine from
Oops.
again Flick Friends. So kamusta pre?
Yes. I'm doing good. Fighting the good fight, listening to Jordan Peterson every day while struggling
Yeah.
really helps.
We need to clean
And,
our
yeah,
room
doing
every
good.
day.
What's
We
that?
need to clean our room every day. Sabi nga
Yes.
niya.
I do my best.
So yeah, once again, congrats 1K. 1K likes
Oh,
over on Facebook,
thank you so much.
and good. Siguro advertise ko na rin beforehand if you guys want to dive into more positive and also great reviews in media res and also series, movies, go ahead and visit Migo's page. Now we are
Thank
going to
you.
discuss some of our bread and butter, sabi nga ni Migo
Ooh.
kanina, and we are a big fan of the action movie genre. Now let's go ahead and start the discussion by asking my guest first. Migo, do you remember kung kailan mo nagustuhan talaga yung action movies? Is there any specific?
I
Okay,
absolutely
so
can.
take the floor.
So, I vividly remember watching Terminator 2 on the
Oh yeah.
VHS, and I was so young. I'm just a ballpark number. I think I was around probably 8-ish. 8-ish. So that came out. So Terminator 2 came out in 1992 or 1991. I was born
Somewhere.
1992. Yeah, so I watched it before the turn of the millennium, and yun nga pare, it's a very memorable experience kasi it's so weird kasi isipin mo I was such a kid back then. Supot pa ako noon and all. Yet the genre, most specifically Terminator 2, was already already had a hold in me. And what's good with it, and probably we'll talk about it more later, is how its hold changed through time with me, because upon growing older, the meanings of the let's say the movie and the message became more clear. Kumbaga ng bata ako, I was just very much inclined with the visuals, the CGI, of course Arnold and the muscles and all that. Pero upon growing up, there were deeper themes that was actually very useful in life in terms of how you're supposed to perceive things. So that I really appreciated, because it's not a one-trick pony. That's what I would say. So that's my first memorable action movie experience. How about yours, man? Do you have like something like that as well?
Jeez, kasi This is probably one of the worst questions I could ask myself because I cannot remember yung pinakaunang action movie na
Yeah.
panood ko. But I could say the very first action movie that strike me would be Die
Mhm.
Hard. Die
Ooh.
Hard would be would be the very first one na talaga, oh yeah, this is something else. We could make use of a simple setting and
Mhm.
then magnify it, raise the stakes, and also introduce badass villains,
Mhm.
not anti-heroes, but a real villain in
Yeah.
so siguro yun yung pinaka main ko. And just like you, yung perspective that watching movies right now, especially action movies, they kind of turn a wheel when it comes to meaning. Ngayon, medyo nag-iiba na siya kung tutusin. The more it
Mhm.
ages, the more you see different themes within the movie, the more you understand. Okay, yeah, the more you understand it more. And I agree, Terminator 2 also, siguro. Um, mamaya na mag-unveil for
Yeah.
part na yan eh. And do you think the action movie genre right now, action in general, is a dying genre or hindi naman?
I would say it's not a dying genre, but
Mm.
it is a more how should I frame this? It's a more rare art form, if that makes sense.
Mm. Yep.
Kasi the reason why I say that it's not what's the question again? Is it a
Is it a
dying art?
dying genre na? Because
I don't
we are
think it's a
being go ahead,
yeah,
sorry.
I don't think it is. Kasi um I still believe that there are still bankable action movies out there, such as Top Gun, of course, the Tom Cruise
Oh.
movies, the heavy hitters, and at the same time, there are also um, like genre changing franchises or movies that recently came out. Well, not really recently, but not as old as the movies that we are going to talk to, such as The
Mm.
Raid 2. Those are
Yeah.
one of the
Yeah.
few movies that are really genre changing in a sense of how it was shot. And conversely, because of The Raid, we got Dread 3D and we also got John Wick after that.
Mm.
So, siguro kaya ko sinasabi na ano siya, it's a more harder art form or dying art form to do.
Yep.
Kasi, ano siya eh, it's harder to make movies now in a sense na it's harder to get funding for the movies now. So, unlike before, nung we were much younger, action movies are much more
Bankable.
prevalent.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, and bankable.
Mm.
Kasi back then, the cost of making a movie and the return of investment isn't really that, shall we say, it's not as high of a standard as it is today. From
Mm.
what I know today, I may be wrong because I got this information probably 4 years ago. Pero as far as I know, for a movie to say that it is a successful movie in terms of finances, it needs to get its money back 2.5 times. So,
Yeah.
kunyari 1 million yung budget ng movie, it needs to get 2.5 million to actually say
Or
na, hey,
three.
we actually
Yeah.
earned something, yeah, or three,
Mm.
to actually say, hey, we got a bit of money back. So it's really hard to make movies recently. Kaya as we can see, a lot of more movies now are really catering to specific people they're because these production companies want
Mm.
more surefire way to get their money back.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that.
I
We
agree.
can also talk
And
about that later pala, by the way,
yeah,
because I think it's
definitely.
interesting how the movie making landscape is different from then to now, and what are the key differences on why that is. But
Mm.
yeah, that's
But
what I think.
before we proceed, we have someone in the comment
Great.
section in Facebook. Kasi naka-cross post to YouTube and Facebook. The reason why I did it because we want a proper discussion also with people involved. Roselo Reyes, Big Trouble in Little China. I agree. Yeah, Kurt Russell.
Ooh, I haven't seen that. I'll be honest.
It's a good movie, pre. It's very partner in recommendation ko actually sabihin ko sana
Sure.
mamaya. So he said that it's very easy to create action. Actually, Migo and I will agree that it's hard nowadays.
How
Mamaya
do you define
pag-uusapan
easy?
natin.
Maybe
Yeah.
yun. How do you define
Mm,
easy? You can say it's easy because you have a lot of filmographies to actually copy or have
mhm.
inspiration, pero it's harder to make that movie financed.
Exactly. action movies are pure before no green screen CGI. All stunts back in the day. Well, yeah, it's been
Most.
proof when you look at the more recent movie now, which is Top Gun Maverick.
Mm,
That was basically mostly practical
practical.
effects, which means they did it in person as opposed to green
Yeah.
screen. Pero it's impossible for that kind of movie na walang green screen.
There
Meron
is a
din kahit
little.
papaano.
I mean,
Yeah, a
there's
little.
actually one part there na masasabi ko that's a bad CGI. But alam mo, yun, I was already having a good time. I really don't
Yeah,
care.
exactly, 'di ba? But
Yeah.
you don't get to what do you call this rant about that part kasi the entire movie, the experience that you have, it's still overshadowing the bad ones. So
Yeah.
such a shame di ko napanood yung yung Top Gun. Yun lang masabi ko. Jace, I'm sorry man, but yeah, I am live right now. It's been a long time. I went live for about a month. But yeah, thank you so
Uh-huh.
much for hanging out. Do comment whatever you want regarding action movies, man. We're going to read it. So I have another friend, Anthony Sanchez. Action movie nowadays we're more on visuals and plot. Yeah, yeah, could be good,
Interesting.
interesting.
Hmm.
But I kind of agree. Sometimes kasi
Hmm.
ganun na talaga yung nangyayari.
I'm letting
So,
I'm letting the thought marinate in my head.
kasi mamaya dadaanan natin yan. You'll be able to
Yeah.
revisit that when we talk about movies. So let's go ahead, siguro, let's start with our top five because I think we have
Mm.
more than five, to be honest.
Oh my god.
We have
This is
more than
hard.
five in history. So, would you like me to go first?
I will try to go first.
Okay.
I want the tougher assignment right in front of me right now. So,
Yep.
does it have to be from number 5 to 1, or does it have to be like a general top 5?
I would prefer 5-1 just because of the excitement.
For
Alam mo
sure,
yun,
for sure.
yeah. But if
Oh,
you prefer to do something else, that's fine also.
for sure. Okay, I'll do that instead. So, number 1 is definitely Terminator 2. So, again, I'll discuss later in more detail why that is.
Mm-mm.
Basically, Terminator 2 in general, or in a nutshell, Terminator 2 is one of the most perfect movies you can find out there, honestly. And they should have ended the franchise then and
Yeah,
there, honestly. Okay, so
man.
no, that's number 1. I would say, you know
Mm.
what, number 2,
Oh,
my
would you like
number
it ikaw na yung buo or let's go back and forth pre para medyo may onting
for
discussion.
sure.
So you
Yes,
get
yes.
to choose give yours and then ako naman.
Yeah. Yeah, good.
Are we live? Migo, are you still there?
Oh, am I
There.
gone? What was I
No,
gone?
nawawala ka kanina.
Oh
Yeah,
my
you
god.
went out of point from it. So, yeah,
Sorry about
again,
that.
we could do this like palitan tayo. You go
Yeah, let's
first
do
and
that.
then I go second. So Terminator 2 for you. Um for me medyo I would be leaning into Asian movies to be honest with you.
Oh.
May mga parts in action talaga eh. So when I define action kasi it's more about the stunts for me and also
Uh-huh.
the fun that they do. So I would say Ip Man would be number five.
Mm. Okay,
And
can't disagree.
and eh,
Can't
kasi
disagree. I love that movie so much, by the way.
mm, actually the entire Ip Man franchise kung
Yeah.
tutusin walang tapon.
True,
And
true.
siguro yung last one was a bit more meh,
Yeah.
could have
Was
been
that the Mike
better, but
Tyson one?
yes, that one.
Yeah.
Kasi they could have been better. They could have bet Mike Tyson and also Ip Man. But we're
Yeah.
not going to be historically accurate at this point, diba? So just
Yeah.
go balls blazing there. So Donnie Yen is one of my favorite action actors, to be honest with you. And despite kung ano
Amen.
leading niya, he's delivered great action and no one can disagree with it. Sometimes siguro medyo yung ano niya, yung height niya could be a problem some people. He starred in a what do you call this? Romance of a Three Kingdoms movie.
Oh,
Ginampanan niya yung role ni Guan Yu, which is
go on
very
you.
awkward because Guan Yu historically is very tall. But
Yeah.
then again, it's just going to be action. Again, going back to Ip Man, when you look at it in a retrospective view, you could see siguro yung heritage na meron yung Chinese martial arts, which is very
Definitely.
elusive back in the time, in the day na ginawa to. People know Chinese martial arts because of Bruce Lee. And
Mm-hmm.
we have a JKD practitioner in the comment section na si Jace
Ooh.
Fox. So he knows what I'm
Hey.
saying. And we couldn't have Bruce Lee without Ip Man. So when I was watching Ip Man before, this was around the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect kasi when we were watching action movies na more Chinese based,
Mm-hmm.
parang
Kung fu
iisipin mo,
movies,
is it like,
basically.
Kung Fu, yeah, basically. Parang iisipin mo, is it like wushu na parang panay sayaw lang? No,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't.
No.
No, when we watch, at least when I watched the movie, na, oh yeah, so ganito pala yung damage na talagang pwedeng ma-accumulate. Though it's fictional, we know, when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to the art of
Wing Chun.
wushu, I forgot, Wing Chun, yeah.
Yeah.
Ganito pala yung pwede mangyari. So, when the story wise, okay din siya because you get to see who's Bruce Lee's master and the influence he has over the art and the whole entire thing in war, discrimination, nandun lahat sa unang Ip
Mm-hmm.
Man And it's very fun to see na, oh yeah, despite the differences na meron sila, there's only one thing that actually uh, combines or at least gets people together is the fight. And we see tyrannical people doon na he took down one by one.
Yeah.
So I find that fun. The other movies, I find it also very fun. And would you like to expound again why you love Terminator 2? I mean, I was
Oh,
about to say din, pero I'll give you the floor kasi paborito
yeah,
mo
for
movie yung
sure.
Terminator 2.
Ano kasi siya pare, yung Terminator 2, the reason why it was very special, at least in my perspective,
Mm.
is because it's one of those movies where you're surprised that there's a key like takeaway message. Does that make sense? Kasi when
Oo.
you're watching like an action movie, parang you think, alam mo yun, yung parang yung presumption mo is Michael Bay movie na like na Transformers, na parang explosions, whatever. Alam mo yun, parang
Yeah.
like a popcorn flick, generally
Mm.
speaking. But the reason why I really enjoyed Terminator 2 is because it really, even though that it is like a generally straightforward movie, actually, it still
Mm.
managed to discuss and raise good questions about humanity, consciousness, about the nature of people, about why people want to fight and kill other people, and why
Uh-huh.
machines have this certain sense of like let's say like a child in a sense. Dun sa party this Terminator 2, what made it special is because Arnold, the T800 there was a reprogrammed T800 from the first movie. So the twist there is that from the first movie, he's basically a killing machine. Now he's basically trying to understand humanity. And the reason why I say na parang bata yung perspective niya is it's perfect because the best way a person can explain a grand idea is to try to
Mm.
explain it as a child. How well you try to expound and communicate that message uh, goes to how simple you can make it. And the way they made that simplicity by way of the T800 understanding humanity through osmosis from John Connor and Sarah Connor was really an amazing thing to watch, especially by the end of the movie. 20 years spoiler alert, he sacrificed himself. Alam mo yun, parang it was
Yeah.
really something amazing to watch kasi nung bata ako, it's just really more of parang, oh yeah, robots, yeah, killing, muscles, let's go. But then like a decade later, it had something else to offer me, such as deeper questions on why things are and why things should be, and if things like a Terminator, may magandang line dun eh. Um, if a machine, yung sinabi ni Sarah Connor dun sa end of the movie, if a machine can value human life, why can't we do? So
Mm.
parang it raises that last question. Parang, oh nga no, why the fuck do we keep killing each other? Alam mo yun, it's not even just that eh. That's just one of the tidbits of the ingredients of why this movie is really special. It's not just
Mm.
about people killing people. It's really more than that. It's about learning why people are and why we should change, basically.
Mm.
I hope the rambling made sense.
It made sense because it's also part of my top 5. And sabi ni Migo, hindi ko na isasama dahil ayun na nga. Pero yung ranking na siguro sasama ko siya. But
Hmm.
for me, Terminator 2 was a near perfect movie and also one of the best sequels from a
Oh
movie
yeah.
who I could say that Terminator 1 itself, it could have ended there, diba? It could have
Yeah.
ended the franchise there in one. And it's very hard to pinpoint other movies with successful sequels. Well, most notable this and The Dark Knight, and let's
Top
say
Gun.
Lord of the Rings, diba? Star Wars. So you could see kung titignan natin yung sinasabi ko mga movies, this was made in a generation far from
Mhm.
ngayon. It's around
Yes.
the 80s and also the 90s. What do they have back then? They have the inspiration to do great, great scripts and also great storylines. But going back to Terminator 2, yes, I do agree when it comes to the message of the movie. When you watch it, again, in retrospect, kasi unang best na pinanood ko to was probably in the 90s. I would admit 90s. And then,
Same. I mean, no,
like
no, no,
you,
not pala.
siguro 2000 sa'yo, no?
Yeah, dude. I think I probably watched this 2016 pa ata, I think.
Mm.
So
Well,
yeah,
now, that's still,
I keep on watching this because it's really good.
yeah. So, yun nga, yung ano niya, yung messaging niya, it becomes different through time. And you
Yeah.
discover newer things in these movies that we have watched before. Especially me when I watched The Thing. Parang ngayon, iba na rin yung dating ng The Thing ngayon kapag pinanood ko. Again, but that's a horror movie. I love the way they depicted the T-800, just like as you said, that he's
Yeah.
adapting to current time as opposed to the time that where he was from the future. So he was learning things on the fly from a couple of humans, which I think siguro kung may utak talaga yung T-800, he wouldn't have followed them because he was
Mhm.
technologically advanced. He could do things on his own.
That's true. That's
But
true.
there's a decision made there by James Cameron na no, we're going to make him probably someone, parang time traveler in the thing. Tutusin.
Mhm.
Yeah. He gets to be coached by people around him. Like, yeah, si Edward Furlong, si John Connor, especially him, na parang nakakatawa nga. He gave a lot of stuff, yung humanity niya.
Yeah.
Doon niya na tutunan kay Edward Furlong, John
Exactly.
Connor. And then it was just added up with Sarah. Not to mention that the more the story goes, the more he decides that if you see it na we don't have to kill people. I just have to incapacitate them enough
Mhm.
to make sure that
Yeah.
everyone's still safe. Diba? If you remember the police scene, yung pinasok
The
ko sa'yo ng
hospital.
police yeah, the hospital scene, sorry.
Yeah.
So, he decided to, I mean, he decided to shoot people or the police in the leg rather
Yeah.
than
Both legs.
both legs. I mean, there's going to be permanent damage there, but you're not going to kill them,
Yeah.
ish. But you could see that the development na meron siya.
Yeah.
As opposed to the first T-800 in Terminator 1 that is just a living, killing organism. And sabi nga ni
Oh
John
yeah.
Connor, it doesn't, you can't reason with him.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and going back to the scene, one of the most iconic scenes in dito is when Sarah Connor was reflecting on what's about to happen. If you
Okay.
remember that they're sa park
Was
and
this the
then
one
the nuclear
where
thing,
yung ba yung
diba?
nasa ano siya? She was carving out something on the
Bigla siya
table.
napunta somewhere, or dahil sa gamot siguro, if you remember that. And then he was transported to somewhere na inaano niya yung wall, ay yung ano, yung,
Oh, that was a
I forget.
dream.
Yeah, the dream,
Yeah.
yun nga.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
made a lot of impact na, is this the dystopian future that's ahead of us? We
Yeah.
have nuclears right now, that we have nuclear bombs right now.
Mhm.
Anytime now, pwede na mag-take over because of Google AI. People know that problem na nakakaisip na daw yung Google AI. So, it could happen. But I think with movies like this, people would get to reflect, di ba? Na we shouldn't do this. We shouldn't go further muna sa nalalaman natin. Just because we watch a Terminator 2 and it's a viable thing that might happen in the future. So when it comes to action naman, yeah, it's good. I love the action in Terminator 2. And Arnold did bring his A game here.
Oh
And
yeah.
ang ganda ng acting niya. And also the T-1000,
Yeah,
which
Robert Patrick, I
Robert
think
Patrick.
the name. Yeah. Can I
It's
also
so
add
sad.
pala
Go, go,
in
go.
sobrang ganda ng line na to eh. I just love these like simple tidbits of delivery in lines where it
Yep.
really encapsulates the whole theme of the message of the story. So like in the middle of the movie, nag-uusap si John Connor and the Terminator.
Mm-mm.
And basically, tinanong ng Terminator kay John, like, why do you cry? Kasi nakita niya nag-away sila ng mom niya, tapos umiyak si John. So the Terminator asked John, why do you cry? Tapos sinabi ni John, I don't know. Tapos at the very end of the movie, umiiyak uli si John right
Yeah.
before the
Now I
Terminator
understand.
was go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know now. No, he said,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know
yeah.
now why you cry,
Cry.
but it's something that I can never do. Parang ako like, oh my God, who wrote that shit?
That's why
That's
like,
genius. Oh my
that's
God.
proper character development. It's very hard to
Yes.
execute that, especially knowing that you're dealing or writing a character that shouldn't even be, diba? It shouldn't even feel emotion when
Yeah.
you're going to base it in the first movie, which the first movie is probably one of the best horror movies that I've watched, sci-fi
Yeah.
horror. So ayun.
I
So
say I put it in the genre of sci-fi slasher actually. Because if you think about it, the Terminator is kind of like a slasher, Jason
and
Voorhees type.
you could also classify it as somewhat of a zombie movie, di ba? Kung tutuusin. Sci-fi zombie siya because yeah, again, you can't reason with it. It only has
Yeah,
one goal, to kill
yeah.
John
But
Connor and
generally
also
speaking, it actually felt like a horror movie. Because I
horror movie.
remember watching, by the way, funny story before we move on, real quick.
Mm,
So
good.
the first Terminator movie I watched is Terminator 2, and I really loved
Mm.
it. So I keep on telling my mom, because my mom kept on feeding me unnecessary movies that were, alam mo, for me too young to watch, like Terminator and Sylvester Stallone movies. So I keep on telling her, Ma, I want to watch Terminator 1. Tapos I was very young then. Sinasabi niya, no, you can't watch that. Tapos like a couple of years later, I had borrowed a VHS of the Terminator 1. Tapos meron dun parang like nude scenes. Parang ako like, oh shit. I was like
Is
10
there,
or 11 that time.
is this the
So now I
reason
know
why?
why I
Yeah,
shouldn't
is this
watch.
the reason why you don't want me to watch it, ma'am? So yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
medyo nagpa-pile up yung comment section natin, Migo.
Let's
Probably just
go.
go for it. Vantage, as Rosel said, Vantage Point was also a very good action movie. So many happening within the day. Good plot. I can't remember Vantage Point for some reason. Alam ko
Yeah, me
napanood ko to eh.
too.
Shit. Anyway, we'll look it up. Anthony Sanchez, yeah, another fan of T2,
Let's go.
obviously. Marcelo again, 71 Into the Fire, Korean war film. It's the only
Huh.
Korean action movie that I like.
You know, I think I
Actually,
watched this before, pero nakalimutan ko na. But I feel like
we
I've
need to
seen this
revisit.
before.
We need to revisit some stuff that
Yeah. Good
Speaking
recommendation.
of,
Thank you.
yeah, mamaya mag-recommend din kami. Ip Man was fun and a lot of other movies he has done was fun. Oh yeah. Yeah, Donnie and fun stuff talaga. And of course, yeah, he's the guy. Of course, man, my master works with students and his friends with many who knew Bruce and Brandon Lee
Damn, amazing.
family. Yeah, iconic thumbs up daw pre. It's a T2. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Okay, JP Santiago or from the J Aroga show is here. Good evening, sir. And
Thank you.
Terminator 2. Great discussion, guys.
Thank you, man.
Darius is also here. Thanks for hanging out, Darius. I
Thank
know it's
you.
around 9 a.m. in the morning out there. Okay, so when you watch T2 again, it is very impressive. We both agree.
Mhm.
Because they still do stunts back then. No one is risking their lives for a movie anymore. Sometimes they're still a little bit.
Mostly, yeah. Well, if
Yeah.
we're saying MCU movies, yeah, definitely.
God, no. You're not
It's
going to
like
see people.
It's like
Ano ba
George
naman?
Lucas in the prequels on steroids right now.
Oh, yeah. But, eh, may nabasa ako dun, bigla ko naalala, pero na-mental block ako for some reason. Maybe I'm just tired because of the week. No! No!
Enjoy Terminator Genesis. Was that the latest one?
No, Genesis was with Emilia Clarke.
Well, I did enjoy it, but I can also say that it's not a good Terminator movie.
It's
But I enjoyed it
forgettable.
because it was a novel thing to watch a new Terminator movie.
I
So
wanted to see Arnold again. So
Mhm.
siguro if you're going to say enjoyed, I enjoyed seeing Arnold again. Yun
Yeah,
na
yeah,
lang yung masabi
exactly,
ko.
exactly. Ganun lang.
Mm. So, moving to number 4, yun nga, medyo ano pa rin, what do you call this, martial art film pa rin, considered as what you could say action. This is going to be an underground film, and people probably know it. It's going to be Undisputed 2.
Ito
So,
ba yung si this
Scott
is like
Adkins.
Scott Adkins.
Yeah, it's
There you go.
Boyka. Pero
Boyka.
kalaban siya dito,
Yes.
man.
Yes,
Kalaban siya
yes, yes.
dito.
I've seen
And we
this.
also have Michael Jai White as the
Mm,
boxer. So,
yeah.
when you put it together kasi, when I say action, masyado siyang malawak for me. There are other movies na hindi kilala na nagugustuhan ko talaga. One of
Mhm.
this would be this movie, Undisputed 2. O sabi mo, Jay, kailangan mainstream na maganda. No, 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 no. You have to take that out of your mind. That not
Yeah,
all action movies are mainstream. But
definitely.
I love the choreography in this movie. And for some reason, there's also a story building here na hindi napapansin ng tao because there's a redemption arc here.
Mhm.
Because Michael Jai White's character came from the US, very entitled person. Very may up to the nose na medyo Mike Tyson siya. Pumasok na,
Mhm.
yeah, celebrity ako and then everyone should know me. I could own all of your assets inside this because I'm world champion. And then he faced the king of underground fighting, which is Yuri Boyka,
Yeah.
Scott Adkins.
I
And he
think this is the
got
first movie that I known
seen.
Boyka. Someone told me to
Mm-mm.
watch this movie because of Boyka. That's what I
Mm.
remember way back. Yeah. Sorry.
So
Sorry to cut you off.
no, 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 it's good because that's also the same thing. I would say that this is the first movie where I got introduced to Scott Adkins, the actor, also,
Mhm.
and it didn't disappoint. I mean, it's a low budget film. Maraming mali when it comes to scripting, but this is not the podcast or episode for perfect. I mean, perfect scripting. This is for action movies that we love.
Yeah.
And when you see the contrast kasi in both these characters, you could see one is fighting for fame and success. One is fighting for heritage and also his ang tawag dun? Yung hierarchy niya to maintain his name as they both want to
Like
have the same
reputation.
reputation, yeah.
Yeah.
So they both want to have the same but for different purpose. So
Yeah.
you see a character like Michael Jai White's character having that redemption arc na I got my ass handed to me. Now I need to learn MMA. Yung
Mhm.
sabi niya, and now I need to learn how they fight inside this ring, this squared circle underground. So it's a generic movie. You get to see some fun fights, fun for choreography because we all know how Michael Jai White is as an actor. He's very upbeat and also octane when it comes to action
Mhm.
scenes.
Very physical.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
yeah. And Scott Adkins had this interview with him, and it's funny because Michael Jai White called him, "Hey, what's up, little brother?" Meaning they already have that relationship as friends and also as colleagues. Now, yeah, you have
Mhm.
my back here when it comes to the action scenes. Now it complements their work. So when you watch again, Undisputed 2, know that they did this na parang dance siya. It's not a simple na parang action scene siya na you could see choreography na ganon, pero when you see here
Mhm.
na parang, oh yeah, they truly understand each other when it comes to their stunts. And bihira yun kasi sometimes may ego dun na kailangan, oh yeah, kailangan mas magaling ako sa'yo. Oh yeah, kailangan mas magaling, maganda tong sipa sa pak. It's always going to be a give and take when it comes to this too. And
Yeah.
tatay up ko lang, the third installment was also a redemption arc for Yuri Boyka. And
I think I've seen
napanood mo
that
na ba yun?
also. Yeah.
You should
Yeah. I
watch
think
it.
I've I think I
It's very
have. Pero
funny
ang
kasi
tagal na eh.
umikot. Yeah, you should watch it again because it's very funny dahil this time around, siya naman yung bida. And then
Yeah.
nakalaban
Yeah.
niya is a black guy na boxingero din. Boxing base. So parang umikot lang din. Pero this time around, the story is centered with him.
Mhm.
And the fourth movie was really centered with Scott Adkins' character. And that's a much more brutal and also probably a higher production, bigger budget production. So that I'm not sure if I could say it was great, but for something na nandun si Scott Adkins, I could say na yeah, it's worth my time. So that
Mhm.
would be my second pick, Undisputed 2, or maybe you could
Mm.
roll around between 2 and 3. So ikaw man.
Uh-huh. I want to get in the same lane with you regarding
Mm.
fighting action movies. So usually I don't include this in a top 5 list in action movies, pero I will because I feel like I can debate this that it really deserves its salt. Uh Eto guys, this is really an uncanny choice. So for my number 5, kanina I started with number 1, so now I'm gonna start with number 5. Um, for my number 5, it's going to be Never Back Down.
Oh yeah, but I mean,
Guys,
yeah.
alam mo it's a sabihin na natin it's a B-ish movie, you can say that. But what's surprising to me when I watched Never Back Down some time ago, I would say 2020 when the
I
lockdown
like that
first
movie.
started.
I like that movie.
Right?
To be honest,
Right?
yeah.
It's criminally underrated kasi it's always
Mm.
seen as this parang oh yeah, that movie. But like I mean it's not just that movie. It had a
I
lot of
think
good things working for it.
sorry, I think the reason why it's underrated because it came into a time na nagbo-boom yung MMA. And
Yeah.
people want to compare the fight scenes from an actual MMA fight with what it's going what's going for Never Back Down. But yeah,
Yeah.
continue, sorry.
No problem. So
Mm.
for me, Never Back Down. At first, don't get me wrong. At first, I remember Never Back Down as that just one fighting movie. Pero nung pinanood ko siya uli ng 2020, I was
Mm.
really surprised and I was caught off guard. No pun intended. Na this movie had something to offer then in terms of a redemption arc in an angry teenager.
Yeah.
Sabihin mo na very straightforward yung plot or yung story or yung arc. Pero regardless, the performances, especially Dion
Ian
Honosu,
Musu? Yeah.
yeah, especially him, he really carried the movie. He was the emotional anchor. And at the same time, the main protagonist there, I forgot his real name, but his name is Jake Tyler, if I'm correct.
Yes.
He did a pretty good job. And at the same time, yung villain dun, Tyler McCarthy, I believe, he was also a good douchebag to really carry the weight of that, alam mo yun, that opposite end of this what this guy is trying to fight for. And it also had, sabihin mo ng forced themes of Achilles and the Iliad and all that. Pero it really
Mm.
worked for me. Alam mo yun, parang it wasn't pretentious. That's what I like about it. It knows it's a movie that is really not that serious, and at the same time, it had a good message to portray or to tell people. And another thing, because of this movie, it first came out when I was in probably first year or second year high school. Because of this movie, it was famous in our social circle that everyone actually started a fight club.
So did you guys watch Fight Club after this or something?
I have seen Fight Club before this actually. Pero kasi nung Fight Club kasi it wasn't really more of the fight that you were alam mo yun, at least for me when I watched
Or
it, you don't
story
watch
saka
it
yung
for the
acting?
fights.
Yeah.
It was really more. It had something more to offer than just the fighting. Whereas
Mm.
dito sa Never Back Down, the one of the key anchoring things that would make you want to watch it is the fights, diba? So yeah, because dito sa moving to they had like fight clubs here or what do they call it? Beat down or
Beat
something like
down.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, beat down.
The
So
underground beat down.
the underground. So we did some of that shenanigans back then when we were younger. And yeah, good times. Good times.
Do you guys bet on fights also?
No, we just fought.
No. We just bought.
We just fought. We all fought for the honor of being the toughest guy.
Now that you
Oh,
mentioned
man.
Never Back Down, I could still remember the feeling when I
Mhm.
watched this movie. I mean,
Ah.
this is something that hindi ko siya nasama sa top ko, but I would qualify Never Back Down as a what do you call it, a runner-up to the top 5.
Mhm. Notable,
Just because of
notable mention.
notable mentions, because of the emotions that you get to learn and also
There is, yeah.
apply. Being a person who also has anger management issues before, even now sometimes, you could definitely relate to Jake. Talaga. And
Definitely.
the way he was mentored by Jimon Russo, however you say
Yeah,
first name,
I can't
si
also.
John Roca, 'di ba? John Roca,
Yeah, that's
which
his name, yeah.
mm,
Oh, he also
you
has a
need some.
redemption arc in this movie,
Oh yeah, he has.
right?
Pero
He
it
did.
wasn't really, alam mo yun, hindi siya like with the main character, like with
Yeah,
Jake.
exactly.
But you see the development of him trusting other people, both of them,
Hmm. Hmm.
which na you don't see that. Sabi nga niya, I don't really trust people that much because of what happened in history niya. And
Uh-huh.
what struck me there is a time na parang sinabi ni Jake sa kanya, you have to face your fears, di ba? You keep on
Yes,
preaching to face your fears, and then you
yes,
still hide from going back home. And then
right.
sabi, you
Face your
don't
fears
tell
and
me what
control
you
the
do.
outcome. That's what I
Yeah, di
always
ba sabi,
remember.
sinabi ni ano sa kanya, ni Jean sa kanya, don't tell me what to do. Sumiyak na siya.
Mhm.
Pero he knew deep inside na, yeah, I have to face this demon when it comes.
Exactly. Alam mo,
Di ba?
now that you've said that, ngayon nare-realize ko na probably the reason why this movie resonated with me when I watched it again when I was much older, and now my attraction to Jordan Peterson's teachings, parang it kind of makes sense na connect ko siya because they're really both preaching the same thing to actually hold more responsibility, controlling the outcome, not being a bitch about alam mo, complaining, being there,
Yeah.
facing your fears and all that, and overcoming your suffering. So it's yeah,
Yeah.
there's a good
But,
connection. I mean,
pero it's more ano, 'di ba? It's less preachy, it's more touching you in a way na this is what you need to do in your life. It's like
yeah, it's
I mean, when
definitely
you
not.
sit down in the TV and you watch Never Back Down again, you get to realize when you get older na all of this makes sense in my life, even if it's not fighting, if it's not martial arts. We're fighting daily. I mean, Migo's fighting for his life. When I say that, he now holds 2 jobs. Congratulations on the other new one.
Thank
Now
you.
he needs to get a lot more money and also provide for his family.
Provide.
Let's say, and
Yeah.
yeah, and not to mention na tayo, content creator, we need to fight for what we're doing as well. But
Mhm.
we get to learn personal responsibility in this movie, which is very important. May sinasabi din si Jordan Peterson doon, clean your room, which means also personal responsibility. If you can't clean your room, you can't preach to people what they need.
Yeah, you can't
Basically,
save the world if you don't fix your house first.
yeah. It's the same thing na sinabi ni John Roca. You
Mhm.
need to hold yourself accountable and also control the outcome. It's
Yeah.
one of the most important things to know
Yeah.
that
I
movie.
can't
So
believe we connected Never Back Down with Jordan Peterson. This is amazing.
you did follow up talaga, pero it does make sense because
It does. It
again it
does.
does it sends the same message when it comes to holding yourself accountable as a person in sports or in real life. It's the same. It's the
Mhm.
same. You control the outcome. Sabi nga,
Yeah.
you control the outcome. So yeah, good insight. Fun. So ako naman, magde-deviate akong konti kasi yung iba,
Uh-huh.
ano pa rin, it's going to be martial arts pa rin. But I have to
Uh-huh.
place number 3. This is a tough decision. So I
Mm-hmm.
have to place, ang hirap. Pero sabihin na natin, number 3 is John Wick. So number 3 for me is
Really?
John Wick.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first
I
one?
Yeah, the first one. Yes, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Just because again, Keanu Reeves redemption arc, tagal na siya hindi nag-move, involved in the limelight, and then he
Mm-hmm.
jumped into a very, would you say, an ultra violent movie at this point?
No.
Not really,
I would
pero
say it's
it's
a
a
small
violent
role.
movie.
I would say it's
Yeah.
a small role for
Mm.
someone in Keanu Reeves' filmography and reputation and stature. I would say it's a small role for him to take, but at the same time, if it, John Wick wouldn't be as successful as it is if it wasn't for Keanu Reeves. And at the same time, Keanu Reeves wouldn't be having this sort of resurgence if it wasn't for John Wick. So it's kind of like a symbiotic relationship in a perfect match at the same time for that movie.
Mm. They also have Willem Dafoe in this movie, di ba? He's
Yeah,
also parang
yeah,
best friend niya, something.
yeah. He's
Always
William
has
the
that.
friend in this movie.
The friend, yeah. And
He wasn't the foe.
yeah, he wasn't the foe. Again, I think when we're looking at the movies, regardless if it's action or not, both of us are still looking for the story within the movie.
Oh yeah,
And the movie itself, it's a simple, kung tutusin, it's a simple revenge plot.
it is.
But what struck me in this movie, besides the action, is how they actually filmed and implied what happened to his wife,
Yeah.
and how that connected every single action that he does throughout the film.
Mm-hmm.
The
Hindi lang
motivation
yung
needed.
aso. Yeah.
Yeah, actually,
Not just
yung
the dog.
driving force na dito was not just the dog. It was the memory of his late wife. You
Yes.
could see that
Yes.
in the last part, nung pinatay na niya yung big boss, yung dinabas niya, yung cellphone niya, which nandun pa rin yung video ng asawa
Mm-hmm.
niya, which tells me that the deepest connection that he had with a fellow human being is with his wife. And was
Mm-hmm.
it worth it that he defied all the odds when it comes to 2 and 3? How he escaped or got a pass from everyone else na dapat when you're in the underground society na meron say you were not going to be let out without a fight.
Yeah.
Talaga. So they gave him a very impossible mission, as they say, and he executed it brilliantly. So action in this one, when you compare it to 2 and 3, mas maganda yung action than 2 and 3, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
The
when it
action in 2 and 3 has more set pieces, I would say,
choreography, then it
and
has more
choreography.
choreography.
Mm-hmm. But this
So
one, for me, on what it provided, it was more than necessary, and it was just perfect, actually.
the gunfights here were really fun to watch.
Visceral. Yeah.
Yeah, all headshots. When you
Yeah.
also see the behind the scenes on how Keanu
Keanu.
Reeves trained. Wow, I mean, yeah, just going to have base training when it comes to Brazilian jiu-jitsu. We know
Mm-hmm.
that you can't get that black belt within 1 to 6 months. That's going to
Yeah.
take years of training. And ang ganda ng mga execution ng ng mga actions niya dito. This not including pa yung gunfights. They also have, I forgot the name of this stunt actor na yung kadouble niya to sa I think anyone could correct me. May kadouble siya in Matrix. Nandito sa movie na to. You
Oh.
could remember na yung si Daniel Bernhardt ba? I forgot his name, pero yun yung niya, double niya. I'll just pull up the information for John Wick 1 kasi this needs to be known by people na hindi pa alam.
For sure.
Yeah. Ilan ba lumabas ng John Wick 1? It's been a long time na rin. Sorry guys, I'm just looking up kasi
Yeah.
Daniel Bernhardt. Si Daniel
Daniel Bernhardt.
Bernhardt. So I'm going to pull up Daniel Bernhardt's biography in Wikipedia kasi this person, marami siyang action films na ginawa na hindi siya na-acknowledge ng tao. So Daniel Bernhardt made his acting debut in, this is very fun, debut in the lead role of Bloodsport 2. Pumites. So siya yung pumalit
I've seen the
kay
first Bloodsport.
Oh, it's part of my top 5. Talaga,
Bloodsport.
2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Van
he also
Damme?
Van Damme. He also starred in sequels of Future War, True Vengeance, The Perfect Target. Ito pa na siya, underground na yung mga tipong B side movies. He was also part of Mortal Kombat Conquest, yung TV show. And he also appeared as Agent Johnson in The Matrix Reloaded.
Oh, okay.
2005, he also appeared in Chuck Norris with Chuck Norris in The Cutter. In 2013, he returned to acting with Jason Statham in Parker, and also a
Mm.
cameo in The Hunger Games: Catching Fire. Blah blah blah. Nandun siya sa the remake of Warriors, and also again in the Matrix role as Agent Johnson in the Matrix Resurrections. Kung titignan mo yung cinema niya, ang dami niya ditong notable. Pero nandun din siya pag tignan mo, nasa Logan siya.
Whoa.
He's also in Atomic Blonde, Escape
Oh,
Plan
underrated.
2, Hobbs and Shaw. So this is a very action eccentric guy. And what people don't know is Daniel Bernhardt is also a choreography master.
Mm.
So
I
nagbibigay
probably
siya
he's the
ng
one in the Matrix, right?
yeah, he is the one. Sometimes alam ko nag-ano siya, nagdo-double pa nga siya kay Keanu Reeves eh.
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
look
that's what
at
I noticed.
Daniel Bernhardt's stature, yung itsura niya halos magkalapit sila before na itsura ni Keanu. So
Okay.
he also knows martial arts legit. So when you watch Bloodsport 2, kapag titignan mo itsura niya, it's like you're looking at a taller Jean-Claude Van Damme. Yun lang
Oh,
masasabi ko. But yeah,
okay.
again, going back to John Wick, for the time na nakita natin si Keanu, he wasn't really into these sorts of films. I think the
Mm-hmm.
most actiony film na meron siya was yung forgot nung ano movie to, yung nasa bus siya. Speed. Yeah, Speed.
Speed.
Yeah, Speed. Speed was also a good movie. A good
Yeah.
action movie. Very fun.
Many would say that Speed is actually um the movie that Fast and Furious copied. At least the first movie.
What do you say about it?
Oh, cause in Speed,
Mm.
basically,
Or at
Keanu
least
is
your
the cop.
opinion. Yeah.
No, I mean
Yeah.
some people would say,
Yeah,
yeah,
what's up?
because Keanu was the cop, and then he was infiltrating this surfer gang, which and
Mm.
because basically in the FBI they were saying now you need to investigate this surfer gang because we believe that they're associated with this and that. Tapos while he was there in the gang infiltrating, he basically found out that these people were very cool, kind of like what happened with Brian O'Connor and Toretto. So
Yes.
basically, yeah, that's what I'm basically that's what the people are trying to say.
Mm. Siguro mamaya discuss natin ng konti yung ano, yung Fast and Furious one because
For sure.
that's a good movie and people are forgetting now just because of how trash the other movies are.
Yeah.
One
I
was
would say
great.
5 is really good though, I would say.
Is this the one in Brazil?
Yes.
It's it's very entertaining. Yeah, borderline good. Yeah, I could agree. But mamaya siguro pag-usapan natin.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think the main premise of John Wick was very simple. It's just a revenge story,
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't really have that much of ano din eh budget kung tutuusin eh.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they needed to finish the movie quick. But what happens after is the reception of the movie,
Oh yeah.
and they clamored, or at least us fans clamored for a part two, which we weren't disappointed with part two. It's
Mm-hmm.
good. And you could see here the lengths na pwedeng puntahan ng tao when it comes to revenge. To be honest,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
anyone is capable of doing this. You just have the proper training. You don't even have, you
Yeah.
don't need the money kung tutusin. You need to be resourceful katulad niya. Well, you could say he has the gold coins, but the problem is you're not going to be able to use the gold coins in
In
other
public.
aspects of your
Yeah.
life. Yeah, in
Yeah.
public. So John was just very trained, very motivated, and also very angry. Anyone could
Yeah.
relate to that. Anyone could
Yeah.
relate to that. Diba? Jake Tyler is also a person you could relate to. All of these people have anger issues and they're
Mm-hmm.
in action movies for some reason.
You
So
know, you
yeah.
know the beauty of John Wick. The reason why I
Mm,
think, in my opinion, I feel like the reason why it was so captivating to watch is because we all know Keanu Reeves to be a good guy. Like when you see, diba, even
mm,
before the movie started, even before the resurgence of his action career, when people talk about Keanu Reeves, it's always, oh, he's so kind-hearted, he's so gentle, and even when you see him in interviews, he's always soft-spoken, kind
unexpected.
of shy. So Keanu always had this somewhat persona of being the average good guy, to maybe to cut it short. And I feel like the reason why people really were captivated by John Wick is because yes, it is a revenge story, but on top of that, it's also somewhat a a message wherein you just can't fuck with people even though they look like people who are
Yes, normal.
harmless. Exactly. Like you don't know who you're messing with basically. So you should be more careful with what you do because basically that's kind of like the overarching message in the first movie wherein people don't know who John Wick is and then
Yeah.
crime bosses keep on telling them, "Don't you know who this guy is? He is Baba Yaga.
Yeah.
He is
Yeah.
the boogeyman. He is
Mm.
focused. He will kill you. I saw a guy. He killed a guy with just a pencil." So
Pencil.
those things. That's why I think that added a lot of
Depth.
more gravitas and
Mm.
more like it factor to the movie because let's say John Wick was starred by The Rock. Yes, it's still gonna be fun, but there's this less captivating factor wherein
Because
when you see
the
Keanu Reeves as the
mm,
average guy, iba pa rin yung dating sa'yo na, alam mo yun, yung pinapakita ng movie when it shows that kind of character compared to a much larger than life character. So that's
yeah,
why I
because
think it was
The
more
Rock is
successful.
way too intimidating looking. It's like, di ba, parang, you can't, sabihin na natin, you can't place Keanu Reeves as, let's say, um, yung mga roles ni, ni The Rock. You can't
Yeah.
interchange it talagang. Well, except for Faster. I mean, anyone could actually do that role.
Mhm.
But
I've seen that only
the,
once. I did not really enjoy
it's,
it.
it's again another revenge story, to be honest. You might want to rewatch it in the future.
Yeah,
There
it's
are a
been a
lot of
while.
morals.
Probably like
Yeah,
2012.
yeah, because it's a simple movie. He just goes
Mhm.
out with a list, killing people. Yun yun eh.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes what I've noticed so far in our list, simplicity. Talaga. It's
Right.
simple, di ba?
Yes,
One
definitely.
or two messages, simple, and probably more than passable, and also great action scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's my pick for your number 3
Three.
is, yeah, John Wick. How about you, man?
For me, my number four, since we're in the Keanu Reeves hype train, I
Okay,
cannot not include The Matrix.
The Matrix.
Oh my god.
One, one.
One.
Right.
There's only one Matrix movie, guys. Relax.
Yeah, yeah.
To be
Well,
fair though,
the
the
Animatrix is good though. The
yeah, the
Animatrix is
animating is
good,
good. And
but just animated.
to be fair, I'm more especially down the years when I got older, I was more forgiving of the sequels in the Matrix
Hmm.
just because I started to realize that the first movie is such an impossible bar to meet because the expectation is just so high. Anyway, for me, my number four is The Matrix. In fact, I watched this movie in the theaters when I was very young. I think 1999. This movie came out in 1999, I believe. And my mom again, my mom and her sister um, took me away sneakily inside the movie theaters in SM Mega Mall, I believe, where I watched an R13 movie, I believe. So I wasn't really supposed to be watching that movie back then because I was not 13 years old. But man, this movie is one of those movies I would say that really gave me the idea on what watching movies in the cinema could be. Because before, when I was younger, albeit I was just a fucking child then, I really had no idea on the difference of watching a movie or content, so to say, in
Mm.
a television versus a theater. So The Matrix was kind of like my first introduction on the magic of the cinemas. And it really carried over my passion in watching movies moving forward as I was getting older. In fact, I believe if it wasn't for The Matrix, I wouldn't have had the courage to watch movies alone. Because for some reason, the culture here in the Philippines find it weird that watching movies alone is weird. I don't know, probably, but I don't think so because I've been doing it all my life.
Mm.
But yeah, moving forward, other than The Matrix being some of this perfect cinematic experience. It really uh, gave me a good idea on what a good movie could be and what it could do to you as the viewer. Right now, I'll be speaking in my perspective as a younger kid when I watched this movie.
Mm.
So initially, what you get from The Matrix as a younger kid is basically the visuals, the CGI. It was groundbreaking back then. The
Yep, it
guns,
is.
it's all amazing. The leather suits and all
Mm.
that. The kung fu, it's all amazing. But moving forward, when I got much older and got more interested in, shall we say, philosophy or something like
Uh,
that, basically bigger
mm.
questions about life. So Matrix also gave me that. So the reason why Matrix is very special for me is because it provided me something that I really wanted content wise in different ages in my life. When I was younger, kind of like Terminator 2 by the way, but
Mm.
I was more obsessed, and really the word is obsessed. I was more obsessed with the themes of the Matrix when I was probably in second year high school. I would be i- researching about it, about the themes, about what it means, the philosophical undertones, and all that. So for me, the Matrix gave me this. It was like a gateway drug on what a good movie could be, because you can say that the Matrix is a good action movie, but at the same time, it's also a great philosophical
Sci-fi.
sci-fi
Mm.
movie. It gave you these. It raised really good questions that challenged the viewer. And if it wasn't for the Matrix, I think I wouldn't have had that, shall we say, patience or keen eye on harder movies that challenge you. Kasi I know some people that don't like movies that challenge them, that the movies that kind of make them think. They kind of just want it straightforward, which I don't mind. I understand. But for me, The Matrix was really the first movie that gave me that appetite,
Qu-
that oh my god, like
Questions.
there
Mm.
are good movies like this, I need to find more. So yeah, Inception came along, and so on and so forth, and all other
Mm.
great movies moving forward. So yeah, I would definitely say The Matrix, definitely there.
Again, there's only one Matrix movie. Sabi nga ni Migo. um, this is the first time we get to see Keanu Reeves actually do martial arts, diba? I think this
Yeah.
is the first movie he did martial arts. And you remember the scene nung nasa ano sila, subway? That's
Mm-hmm.
very, it was very over the top back then because it looked very practical. Diba? Parang
Yeah, it did.
you're seeing Keanu Reeves getting bashed to the wall, to the ground, and you could see stuff flying over. And as what Migo said a while ago, you when you look at Keanu Reeves' career, it's not like this. You might say
Mm.
that you've seen him in Speed. That's an action movie, but he never does the physical stuff.
Oh fuck,
Here in the
sorry, I mistaken Speed a while ago from Breaking Point.
Breaking Point is it's a different movie.
Yeah, yun yung
But
kino-compare ng tao sa Fast and Furious. So, hindi Speed, I'm sorry.
that's fine. I mean, yun nga, when it comes to categories being physical, dito mo siya nakita. And also, you're right, the underlying questions that a person has when it comes to philosophy, there's a lot of questions in this movie, in
Diba?
The Matrix. And sometimes I would refer watching my good friend, and also you're a fan of this guy, Max Derrett, because he
Hey.
does a lot of the
Yeah.
um the heavy lifting when it comes to themes and also analysis when it comes to this.
Mm-hmm.
Kasi ang hirap niyang ano yun eh, for me, ang hirap niyang i-dissect and he does it. I think it's
Yeah.
because of his OCD then. So,
I believe I watched his content about the Matrix
mm,
probably from
a lot.
watching a lot of content about the Matrix. I was really eating a lot of Matrix content even
Mm,
before like this new media cycle came
mm,
along. I was really watching a lot of shit about that. And my god, the last scene in the movie, that is so iconic. Yung kausap niya he was on the payphone. I forgot the entire monologue, but he basically said, what happens now is not up to you, something like that. Parang basically he's going to do things his way. And when he puts the phone down, Wake Up by Rage Against the Machine starts playing. Parang, shit. And then he flies. Oh,
Yeah,
fuck.
when he flew, that was yeah.
Oh my
Hoping for
God.
another sequel, pero the sequels weren't that good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Especially the most
we
recent one.
we don't
Sorry.
we
Sorry for
may
bringing it up.
sinabi no may sinabi si ano dyan, 'di ba? Si Chadwick Boseman or rest in peace. We don't do that here. In sa Wakanda, we don't
We
do
don't
that
do
here.
that here.
So let's go ahead and read again the comment section.
Hey.
Piling up again with some friends watching. So Jace Fox is obviously a fan of Yuri Boyka.
Yeah.
Anthony Sanchez did say something. Adkins is a dude. I agree. Big mistake niya lang is him taking a side role sa Doctor Strange. I definitely agree. That was a
What?
very big missed opportunity. Kasi kalaban siya doon. He was a henchman in Doctor Strange 1.
What the fuck?
Yes, I'll pull it up.
Sorry for swearing.
That's fine.
I totally forgot. Oh
You
my God.
forgot. Oh my God. Scott Adkins was there in Doctor Strange 1. And siya yung namatay sa, what do you call this? Yung out-of-body experience nila. Di ba naglaban silang dalawa? Siya yung namatay doon. So, if you remember that part, just pull up that picture para maalala mo yung itsura niya.
I need to check that out.
Here.
But
Here
yeah,
it is.
he could be a good Johnny Cage, actually.
He is. He's the only option that we have now for Johnny Cage. So he's quite
Oh my
serious.
God, that's him?
Yes, that's him.
I did not
Henchman.
recognize him. Holy.
He even looks like Ryan Reynolds kung tutusin.
Yeah.
He was also double. I think he was also the double for Deadpool in X-Men Origins Wolverine. Another bad movie na nakakatawa
Oh my
lang.
God. Good to
So,
know.
Ito, ayan. So, Doctor Strange 1.
Man.
Also another
I'm
good
beating myself
MCU.
too much right now because I usually notice these things.
Well, I'm not sure why people don't get to notice. Probably because of the makeup.
Yeah.
Diba? It took
Yeah.
me second viewing to realize that, yeah, this guy is Scott Adkins. Yun sa akin, second viewing, oh yeah, this is Scott. So I'm a big fan
Good
of
for
him.
him though. He got new stuff. recent stuff.
But it's no, parang this guy is very talented. And one may say that he needs to work with the acting chops that he has, but you need to watch also his other movies to realize that he could make it there. For some reason, I don't know. Do they hate English people in Hollywood or something like that? I really don't know. Because for me, if we didn't see Ben Affleck as Batman, I would have chosen him, to be honest. If you want a realistic Batman that could do stunts, there's no other option but Scott Adkins. And have you watched his monologue, pre?
Not yet.
Oh, I'll send it to you. You'll find it
sure.
very interesting because he read a part of The Dark Knight Rises and ang ganda.
Holy shit.
Bagay sa kanya. Some people say, oh no, hindi naman yung boses niya. No, it's not that. You have to look on how he delivers it.
Yeah.
Maybe I have a bias for Scott just because he's one of my favorite action actors. But holy hell, he could have been better casted in different movies, to be honest with you. Yeah, the rest of the movies were pretty fun. That's Undisputed 3 and 4. If you haven't watched 4, Migo, you should watch it.
4, I think I haven't, but 3, yes.
Maraming B-action si Atkins. Kailangan niya lang talaga, this is what I'm saying. A big break. Big break to get into mainstream. He did, but again, Doctor Strange 1, pero I'm not sure what happened there. Even Sucker Punch's story is dull. I enjoy all of its action scenes. I can't remember watching this movie. I know this is the all girl movie action movie,
Yes.
but I can't remember.
By I may be mistaken, but the director is God damn it.
I can't remember.
I forgot.
Sucker
But I do
Punch.
remember when they were promoting this movie, it was because of the director.
It's Zack Snyder, pre.
There you go. It was Zack
I'm
Snyder.
forgetting
There
Zack
you go.
Snyder's name now. Oh
It's a
my
long
god.
month. It's been a long
Yeah,
and
it
hard
is.
month.
Migo and I are suffering from return to work syndrome.
Yeah.
So yeah, so forgive us. Guys, the trailer destroyed the whole movie. I forgot what this
Most
is.
trailers do that. That's why I don't watch trailers unless we have to do it for a show.
Yeah. Mm. What was the last trailer you guys discussed? You
I believe the
remember?
last trailer we discussed was Thor, and now it's out.
Mm. Are you going to watch the movie soon?
I'm going to watch it on Sunday along with Watch and Ivan. Actually, yeah.
Okay, good. All right.
Though my girlfriend watched it earlier today, and she usually has a good metric on with movies. She
Mm.
said it was so-so. So,
I know
I
why.
don't know. I'll see.
It, one thing that we learned about Multiverse of Madness that we both agree upon because you're more on the positive side, I'm more on the
Mhm.
negative. It's again, siguro hindi ko na sabihin yung spoiler, pero it suffers from the same sickness.
Mm. Oh,
So
you've seen it?
uh, not exactly, but based
Oh,
on
okay.
everyone that I've asked who
Okay.
watched it, people who loved it and people who don't, they basically say that it suffers from whatever Phase 4 is suffering right now.
God damn it.
But
Really? That's such a bummer.
but it's again personal preference. I know you guys will enjoy it for what it is, and who's not excited to see Chris Hemsworth again? But
Yeah.
the only thing I could say, the best face of Thor would be the Endgame version of Thor. They
Oh,
should have
yeah.
built up that character.
They really
Yeah.
should have. Yeah, I agree.
No, not Endgame. Sorry,
Infinity
Infinity War.
War? Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love
for
that
for
Thor.
for me, Infinity War, Thor, and Endgame
Endgame.
Thor are one of the same. I see them as one character. Since that the
Mm.
movie is not really what do you call that? Since the movie isn't really too different from what the story that they're telling. So I
Mm.
consider them as one big arc.
But again, this will turn out to be an MCU discussion. But
Ah, okay.
but for me, I would have capitalized with Dark Thor. To be honest with
Oh
you,
yeah,
I would
definitely.
have capitalized even after him. Let's say na hindi nangyari yung napugutan niya ng ulo kagad si Thanos. You could have gone to different direction there. Like he would have parted ways with the Avengers just because of the cycle of vengeance. Again, revenge na meron siya. Again, people with anger management issues.
Mhm,
He killed your brother, killed all of your people, killed most of your friends. So that would
mhm,
be more than enough motivation for you to go one on one against Thanos kung tutuusin. And he does
mhm,
have Stormbreaker.
mhm,
So I would have gotten into the much darker aspect of his character instead of the Fat Thor thing. Or maybe even in remorse, sabihin na natin
mhm,
nangyari na pugutan ng ulo, canonically based on what was shown in Endgame. And then I probably go through the grieving phase, or at least, alam mo
mhm.
yun, like
For
what they did with Hawkeye, ganon ang gagawin
oh,
ko sa kanya.
I
Just because
see.
of the loss that he experienced. But actually,
When
when you
became
sorry, go ahead.
Ronin.
Yeah, when he became Ronin.
Ah,
Ganon Thor ang ano ko, ang hahabulin ko talaga. If
ako
I've written the character.
Yeah, ako for me, since I said a while ago that Thor and Infinity War and Endgame are basically one of the same, I remember our conversation back in the uh, Multiverse of Madness discussion wherein we all talked about, I believe we briefly talked about Thor. I believe we
Mm.
did. And where it could have gone. And when you told me that this Thor movie should have So when the trailer came out, it was this kind of um what do you call that, coming of age story again, basically.
Yeah,
And
another
while I
origin
enjoy,
story.
yeah, while I enjoy the concept, since I haven't seen the movie, and they really
Mm.
did a good job on the marketing from that trailer, I do agree with what you said that after Endgame they should have gotten a more serious turn on Thor's character, because he's beat up emotionally,
Mm.
and it kind of just makes sense to take the character in that direction. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, kasi 'di ba, to be honest with you, I only just like Patrick Ramirez, who's in the comment section right now, which another
Hey.
guy that I keep talking to, and also a critical drinker fan. I only watched Ragnarok once,
Mhm.
and the main reason why I watched it only once is because for me, this is not the Thor na kilala ko, and
Yeah,
I'm
they
a big
definitely
fan.
changed a lot of things in that movie for Thor.
Since all of us being a fan of Kevin Brown's Thor, which is one,
Mhm.
ang layo niya because when it comes to comedy scenes in one, it didn't feel forced, right? It's like Thor going down to earth, and this will be
Yeah.
the natural reaction he has on
Yeah.
a foreign plane.
Parang fish out of water
Uh,
stuff, eh,
experience niya,
yeah.
diba? And he develops that the same way you said about Arnold's T-800,
Yeah,
diba?
yes.
He is adapting to
True.
the life, the human life na meron siya. So, nagulat ako. It's sad for me to say na I didn't really enjoy Thor's character in Ragnarok except for the visuals, just because and you're also a comic book fan. I never seen Thor like this,
I
like a comic
haven't.
relief,
That's
diba?
true.
Diba?
That's true. I
So
haven't.
I'm aiming for the darker Thor, just because again,
Yeah. Me
comics
too.
talaga.
I think I really believe that Marvel should take a darker turn. I mean, I know that their
Mm.
brand of content and story is
It
basically
sells,
not
eh, diba?
not
It sells, eh.
DC, alam mo yun, and it sells.
Yeah, it
But
sells.
I
I
really
mean,
believe that they should take that turn, because to put it bluntly, the people that they have, the fans that they accumulated from phase 1 and phase 2 are all adults now. We want more stuff.
we want
uh
more Winter Soldier-ish. We want
yeah, we
we
want
want
more
more.
relevant stuff, basically, on what's
Mm.
happening to our lives.
This is
And
the
yeah.
problem also that they have, 'di ba? Parang again, we napunta na sa MCU, bad trip. Um,
It's
when we
okay.
talked about what Phase 4 could have been if they started again ground level, we could have
Mm.
seen a lot more grittier stuff.
Mhm.
Daredevil, Punisher, to be honest, 'di ba? Those stuff na parang they could have concentrated on that. And also Blade. Blade could be
Oh my
considered as
god.
ground level, pero not really. I mean, pero he is in ground level. Though, yun nga, darker stuff and then slowly building up, going to this multiverse thing na ginagawa na nila ngayon. Parang hindi nagmukhang force talaga. And
Yeah.
I just hope you guys get a lot more good content out of it when you when you guys watch it on this weekend or Sunday.
I hope so. I hope so. I hope I have a good time. I mean, at
You
least
probably will.
I enjoy. I think I will.
Mm, yeah.
But
Ako
I'm
kasi alam
pretty,
naman medyo.
to be honest, man, after phase 4, my excitement in Marvel properties have been steadily declining. Honestly,
Dwindled a bit.
I'm not just saying that because, we're here and we have different views on Marvel, but it's true. Medyo I can really see a decrease in quality, and probably because I'm getting older and I'm dealing with much more serious stuff. Probably that's the reason why I can't really get myself to um embrace what they're trying to do. Maybe
Mm.
probably because I'm being selfish, that I want stories that relate to what I feel right now. Probably, I don't know. I'm just speculating
Another
on.
phase of life, as they
Yeah,
say.
and but basically the point is, I really think Marvel should have like a more serious turn in their movies. I hope
And
so.
people are not going to compare that with DC, to be honest. They're
They're
not
not.
going to compare it. Yeah, that's one thing that if this is one argument I keep on hearing. If Marvel goes dark, then it's going to be a DC copycat. No, not really because
No.
there's a lot diba? There's a lot of dark characters there. Talaga kung
Mm-hmm.
tutusin. But I don't know, it's just bias with people. Again, if I just like to remind people na hindi Marvel movie ang pinakamataas ngayon na revenue. It's Top Gun. So,
Yes.
if you guys are going to say
Yes.
na tama si Migo na nagde-decline na nga yung quality, you have to look at Top Gun. I mean, I haven't
Yeah.
watched it, but if you're going to say na it's 1.1 one 1.124 billion dollars yung
Man,
revenue niya,
I
and
love
yung
it.
budget niya compared to MCU movies is far
Uh-huh.
lower with 170 million.
Yes. This is what passion fucking does, guys. And actually, people who care about movies and their fans do. This is what
Mm,
happens.
yeah, and they did
Because
they
because
never
Marvel used to be like this. That's why I'm
yeah
getting more
one
disappointed by the day. They used to be like this. They used
mm.
to care
And
about
also
people who
hanging out
care
with
about.
me. We get to talk about negative stuff.
Yeah. Yes,
but I
that's true.
also
That's true.
but I also catch your guys' enthusiasm with media, especially when we made that Batman episode. So I'm a bit
Yeah.
optimistic now, but sometimes I reflect into events na why are we here? Di ba parang when you realize how come Marvel hasn't steadied their quality. Kaya dun sinasabi they decline.
Yeah.
Why?
If you guys are interested on my thoughts about why Marvel is declining, I have a video
Yeah, as a
about that
video.
actually.
Yeah, go to Flick Friends in Facebook and also in YouTube. Later, we're
Yeah.
going to promote that. So, basahin na natin ang dami ng comment section.
Yeah, I
They're
saw. I saw
having
some.
their own discussion also in the
For
comment
sure.
section. Adkins needs a big break. Here's Patrick saying that we don't talk about
Matrix
Matrix
regurgitations.
regurgitations. Yeah. Astral Plane. Yeah, Astral Plane is the one that I'm saying where Scott Adkins died when he faced Doctor Strange.
Mhm.
And yeah, what else? Adkins needs a big break. The Wachowski sisters, fortunately.
Actually, from
Um,
what I know, the most recent Matrix movie was only made by one Wachowski sibling,
yeah,
not two, from
not
what
two
I
of
know.
them. But this is correct. The Wachowski brothers did a better job,
That's true.
fortunately. Mm. So Kevin Duayan is here from the Elitistang Weebong podcast. So I
Hey.
grew up in watching 80s Pinoy action movies and the Hong Kong ones. Yeah, there's a lot of Hong Kong movies na maganda.
A lot.
Dahil yun yung madalas na napapanood sa VHS, man, those were simple times. Yeah, I won't detest that. I agree. Okay, so Patrick here is Dark Thor would have been awesome to be dealt with. Yeah. I think I could give if I have let's say $200 million going kung director si Migo, he would probably do a better job. Kung
I
tutuusin.
just want to be a writer.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a director.
Actually, being a writer is far harder, diba? Being
No,
a
no,
writer is
no.
far harder because you're going to write something and then kung ano yung i-interpret nila doon i-base dun sa ano mo, kinawrite mo.
Well,
I
I
think lang,
guess it
I think.
depends on the perspective. But
Mm.
basically, if you're the director, you're really the captain of the ship, and that has a
Mm.
lot of responsibilities. So if you're a writer, you just basically pass a job, and then the director is the one that tries to culminate everything. So I think that's a harder job. But but if they're gonna give me the job, why not?
Why not?
Why not? Why not? I'm not gonna back down
Why?
for that.
Mm. Coffee, bring me coffee, the scene dun sa Thor, di ba? Yung comedic scene na binaksak niya yung
Uh-huh.
ano, iniinom
Is
niya.
that
Yeah,
beer?
they're
That
fun.
was beer.
No, it's coffee. It's coffee in one. Yung nasa loob sila ng ano, ng
Oh, like in
cafe.
this, like, yeah. Diner.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
I like this. I like this
Oh,
drink more.
my dog is
Ah,
here, guys.
dog's here getting
All right.
some comic
Don't,
stuff.
don't get the
You want to
comics.
read something, doggy?
His
So,
name
okay,
is
so
Tony.
Tony. Nice to meet you again, Tony. Always does his cameo also in Tambayang Talong,
Oh
guys.
yeah.
Follow them. So Thor is
Thank you.
originally a series character meant to be aspired to. He's a god beyond what humans could ever hope to be. He's not meant to be relatable. Yeah.
I really enjoy that perspective of yours, Patrick, because for one, I believe, or at least a lot of people believe, that that's going to be the biggest challenge for DC with their Justice League characters because they're all basically gods.
Gods, except
Yeah,
for Batman.
that's what. Yeah, except for Batman, but technically he is. But yeah, that was the challenge for them before, how to make gods relatable. But you do raise a good point where you said that they're not meant to be relatable. That really got me thinking, because
Yeah, because
what
we
would the
can't relate them
what would the
being
story
gods,
be if
right?
they're not? Yeah, what would the story
Yeah.
be?
Mm.
So that's something to
Again,
think about.
Thor one of my favorites also. Um, Kevin again, for me, top five is Hard Boiled. This is a Hong Kong movie. Drunken
Hmm.
Master, Jackie Chan
Jackie
movie.
Chan. Yeah.
Oh my God, you said one of my number two. So Rambo First
Rambo.
Blood. Yeah,
Yeah.
Tatlong Baraha. I don't know. I can't remember. Maybe I've seen it before.
Commando.
And
That's an Arnold.
Commando.
I love that movie
criminally,
too.
a criminally underrated movie.
Amen.
Commando.
Amen. That's very true, man. I
Mm.
used to watch this a lot when I was younger. This is probably why growing up, I had this weird obsession to make my body bigger. It's probably because of being
Commando.
overly exposed to Arnold Schwarzenegger as a kid.
Okay, let's talk about a bit of Arnold here. I mean, we do
For
have some
sure.
time for what is your favorite Arnold movie?
Favorite Arnold movie? It's probably Terminator 2, but I'll say
Oh
one
yeah,
more movie that
by default, siguro.
I feel like is underrated. Honestly, I think The Last Action Hero is
Mm,
way ahead of its time.
mm,
Way ahead of its time on being meta, on poking fun at the themes or
yeah. Also breaking the
at the
fourth wall,
genre.
diba? Breaking the fourth
Yeah,
wall as well.
you know what? I
Dami.
feel like The Last Action Hero would be a good. I don't want to say remake, but a reimagining of what it can be today.
Mm.
Because anyway, Patrick got a good top five list here,
Yes.
and
Mm.
one of his entries there is actually mine. I won't say what, but yeah, probably The Last Action Hero. I want to give it a lot of
Lot more
I want to
credit
give it
than people.
a lot of credit because it's really underrated. I believe people have forgotten about it, and it's really ahead of its
Oh,
time. I would say that.
Tony's doing something in the background.
Oh,
Like,
what are you doing? Oh my god, it's okay.
like, but yun nga. Last Action Hero is pretty good. And this is actually one of the first time I've watched a movie way back then because this was ahead of its time. They're playing with themes like putting an animated character, 'di ba? Naglagay sila ng
Yeah,
animated character in the movie. I think Darkwing. No, I can't remember. Pero when also breaking the fourth wall, it's like he's always communicating with the viewer.
hmm,
Right? Since
and it's
he's always
and they're also
communicating with the
poking
viewer.
fun at the genre.
The
That's what I
genre
like.
itself. Mm.
Yeah, they're poking fun at the genre about the
You could also
ridiculousness of the
yes.
action genre. Way
You
ahead of
could
its
also
time.
do action scenes. You could do drama in this movie. There's a drama scene in this movie. People don't remember that yung malapit na siya mamatay.
Mm-hmm.
There was a
Yeah,
drama scene in this movie, di ba? And
yeah.
what struck me with Last Action Hero is how can a how can an it's basically how can an immortal fall in some sense, 'di ba? Parang
Oh yeah,
what
yeah.
are
That's
you, 'di
true.
ba?
That's
What
true.
and if you're going to translate it in real life, if what will be the worst scenario you'll fall in kapag hindi ka nakapag-adapt dun sa pupuntahan mo.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically it because death is always on your
I
door.
never saw it
Diba?
that way, but now you've said it. It gave me more appreciation on the Last Action Hero.
Diba?
I need to
Kasi
see that again.
yeah, you need to.
Oh
And
shit!
I need to also.
I'm gonna
Buy
let
the
my girlfriend
ticket.
watch that.
May
The
nagbebenta ng
golden
ticket,
ticket,
the golden
right?
tickets. If only movie logic would be that simple application in real life.
Later,
Ganda
GM,
sana.
let's try to do a question wherein we choose one action movie to be remade today and who's going to
Oh
be
yeah,
the actor.
definitely.
Let's do that
So
later.
siguro tuloy na rin natin yung ano natin. So
List.
I think it stopped with ano eh. Naman
It
nakalimutan ko na
stopped
yung sinabi
with
ko.
The Matrix.
Matrix sa'yo. And then for me, nasabi na niya. Number two is
Yeah.
going to be Rambo.
Oh yeah.
Rambo talaga. It's either, sabihin ko na yung totoo, there's a tie there. It's either Rambo or Die Hard. So,
Oh, okay.
so both 80s and both in the development stage of their careers. Diba?
That's
You
true.
have Bruce Willis in his first action film, kung tutuusin. And you also have Sylvester Stallone in his first major scene, also action scene. It's very funny because they discovered Sly Stallone in a comedy movie, I think, before this. I forgot the name of the movie, pero yun yung pagkakalala ko. He was discovered when he was in a comedy movie. So
Mm-hmm.
what I love about Rambo, and we've already had this conversation before via chat, and you also see me posting every
Uh-huh.
weekend while
Yeah.
I watch old
Why
movies.
older movies are better? We
Movies are
need to
better.
answer that question later too, by the
yeah,
way.
yeah. I think that deserves a separate ano na eh, 'di ba?
A separate
A separate
episode.
episode probably in your kung i-discuss ninyo sa Tambayang Talong
For
din.
sure.
'Di ba?
Yeah.
It's good.
Let's cook
So,
something up.
yeah, yeah, Rambo kasi again, it's simple. It's a simple movie. It's a
Mm-hmm.
simple movie of a marine who probably could not adapt again. There's adaptation in real life in the afterlife that he has after serving for the military. And people
Quick
are always
question.
poking. Yeah,
He's a veteran from Vietnam, am I right?
Vietnam. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So Patrick is also I think he's serving as well. But
Hmm.
yun nga, it's a simple movie, and sometimes people overcomplicate stuff when it comes to action
They
movies. No, it
do.
doesn't. And that's
They want to be
one
too
thing that
clever.
that's one thing I think we've seen in our list. It's always going to be simple. It does
Mm-hmm.
have a good story, but when it comes to the overarching things na hindi ka masusuka, this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
not the type of movie na kailangan mong i-dissect.
Mm-hmm.
This is just the type of movie you sit down and watch what happens. Yun eh, di ba? You
Yeah,
watch what
that's
happens.
basically it. You watch what unfolds with Rambo First Blood. That's true. And
When
the
First
character
Blood,
work is also amazing, by the way.
they made a difference in the ending of the movie. Obviously, he should have died when it comes to the
Yeah.
book. Na,
I
namatay
heard
dapat
about
siya.
that.
But it is what it is when it comes to Rambo. Um, the other sequels were still okay and not that good. But when it comes to Rambo 1, why it became a cultural icon thing, it's because back then it was relevant for people
Oh
na
yeah.
they're undergoing PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people relate to this movie before because it's after the Vietnam War, and then people even now, diba, you know this, people are treating veterans like shit. Parang,
That's true.
and
I heard from, okay, sorry for the tangent,
there you go.
but
Go,
I
go.
was checking out a podcast with Jocko Willink. Are you aware of Jocko? Jocko or
Yes,
Joko
yes. Yeah,
Willink?
Jocko
Yeah.
Willick. Yeah.
So I heard that he had a guest who was a son of a. That's why I asked earlier if Rambo was a veteran
Viet.
of
Mm,
Vietnam
Viet.
War.
Mm.
Yeah, so the reason why basically what I'm trying to get to is the when the veterans returned from Vietnam, the reception was so bad from the public
Mm.
that they really they didn't want them there. They were villainizing them for basically what they did there. They're just under orders and all that. So the son said that whenever you meet um a veteran from sorry what's that country again?
Vietnam.
Vietnam. If you
Mm.
meet a veteran from Vietnam, you always tell them that welcome home and thank you for your service because they never got that when they first got here. So yeah,
Just-
that's just a little tidbit that I got from the podcast. Which is
I think.
oh shit.
Ooh. Ooh,
Sorry. It's okay.
something broken. But
No, it's okay.
I think people should give a lot more respect to soldiers in general, not just them, even locally sa atin.
Definitely.
And siguro, I don't want to go further, pero what happened to the SAF 44? You guys know what
Oh
happened
yeah.
there. So these people are fighting for freedom. Patrick knows this because I know Patrick has a military background. Um, it's hard talaga because we don't subject ourselves sa ginagawa nila. Akala natin yung trabaho natin, IT, customer
Yeah.
service, and you guys think this is real work. The real
Yeah. Oh
work
my God.
comes from them, kung tutusin. The real
Yeah.
workers. The people who defend our freedom each and every day.
That's true, man.
I have high respects for these people because we are not going to be able to do what they're doing. The training that they're subjecting themselves to. Si Migo pwede pa ako, hindi ko na kaya dahil may injury ako. Pero, yeah, visit Fit Friends again. Another
Yeah,
plug.
if you want to be a soldier.
Well, semi, di ba? I mean, if you want to build your body up and also some stuff. So, when it comes to John Rambo kasi as a character, again, PTSD driven siya. And it's very, sad to see a person danan yon until
Yeah.
dumating yung niya, yung superior niya, which changes the tone of the movie na, okay, so this guy does have a superior that he looks up to.
Mhm.
Commands him. He's not just a wild dog na, alam mo yun, na wants to destroy everything. So again, there's a redemption arc with this movie. Simple. When
Yeah.
it comes to Die Hard, again, simple. Simple setting. You're in the Nakatomi Tower, nothing much going on, and then a person by the name of nakalimutan ko pangalan niya. John. Everyone's John. I forgot his last name, but yeah, he goes into a party of his wife. Yung pala mali pa yung invitation niya. Kung
Uh-huh.
tutusin, invited by accident, and then all hell breaks loose. So he has to survive and also save his wife. Same thing, eliminate the
John
terrorists.
McClane, there you go.
John McClane, sorry, nakalimutan ko na.
It's
So,
been a long month. It's okay. I
long
keep on
month,
forgetting
yeah.
Vietnam earlier as well.
Yeah, and John McClane is also another cultural icon because of Die Hard 1 and also Die Hard 2. Even 3, maganda sila. 4 onwards, hindi na masyado. But again, going back to this movie, again, simplicity is the key. You
Uh-huh.
just have a wayward or unwanted hero and
Mm-hmm.
a terrorist group, and oh my God, what's Tony doing? So you need a terrorist group and also a good plot when everyone dies except for the main hero, and it's all action. To be honest with you, and also quippy dialogues. Madami kang
Mm-hmm.
ma-pick dito na parang nakakatawa, yippee or motherfucker.
Yeah.
It's all fun, and also the usual comedy dun sa driver ng kotse niya. It's just stereotypical action in the 80s, but it's very fun to watch.
Yeah. He also had
So
a
that's
good banter with the cop, the black cop. I forgot his name. He played like a
yes,
role there.
yung naging
Yeah.
niya, even into also
Yeah.
involved into
And he also had a good moment in the first movie where he was the one who actually shot the
Hans
villain,
Gruber.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. He was actually the one who killed him finally when he was about to kill John McClane. So that was a good connection there.
Yeah, very very fun movie. So hindi ko na ba tagalin. That's my number 2 na tie. Ikaw, ano
Ah.
number 2 mo? Kung tutusin, mahaba talaga yung kung magkakaroon tayo ng discussion when it comes to
Oh
action
yeah,
films.
man.
Jeez. Yeah.
I would give my number 2. This is hard, man. Because I could easily say any Mission Impossible movie and it's going to be amazing. Or the newest Top Gun movie because it deserves that.
Mm.
Actually, even the Bourne trilogy is also a great movie, especially the
There's a
first
lot.
one.
Mm.
But to keep my list, let's say more of the movies you should have have
watched.
seen. Yeah, I'll go with Face Off, man.
Oh, jeez, I forgot that movie.
That Face Off
John
is a
Travolta,
classic.
Nicolas
John
Cage.
Travolta, Nick Cage, and John Woo as the director. Oh my God. It's a great
You
movie,
have,
guys.
yeah, and also sorry to interrupt. John
Yeah,
Woo
yeah.
is one of the best action directors of all time.
Exactly. And you have Nick Cage and John Travolta in this movie. It's just spectacular because what's good with this movie, I'm not gonna go into too much detail in the plot because again, it's
Mm.
very straightforward, with just a twist wherein they exchange faces to infiltrate each other's lives, to say the
Vibes.
least. But what I really love about this movie is the three main stars really shined here, and those three stars are Nick Cage and John Travolta and John Woo. They had this perfect unity and flow in the story, wherein you have the moving parts, wherein which is Nick Cage and Travolta. At the
Mm.
same time, John Woo helming everything, choreographing everything, and all his details and his nuances in the movies that he does is very evident, and at the same time, it doesn't feel forced, because we all know that John Woo is not really a back then, at least, isn't a Hollywood
Staple. Yeah.
staple director. He's more
Mm.
of a Hong Kong film legend, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Mm.
So it was such a great combination of those three parts, because when you really look at it, those three people are very, shall we say, highly volatile. It's hard to mix them. It's hard to
Mm.
make them work. But in this movie, they managed to pull it off perfectly. So I would really give the nod to Face Off, and people should see this movie more because it has a lot of things going for it. It's not just the silliness of people exchanging faces. I mean, yes,
Mm.
the concept is wacky,
It's the most
but
memeable part of that movie, exchange space. But to be honest with you guys,
yeah,
the movie itself is good, actually
very
great.
good.
Mm.
It's way better than most action movies we get for the
Oh yeah,
past two
I won't
two
disagree with
decades.
that. Yeah.
It's pretty good. It's really pretty
Mm.
good, honestly. So
Yeah,
I'm
and
gonna give that my number two.
oh my God, number two. Talagang now that you remind me, I think my girlfriend and I need to watch this movie. Because
Right?
she might enjoy this na ngayon naalala ko na. And
Right?
recently I watched another Nick Cage movie, another not an MCU movie, but a Marvel movie, which is Ghost Rider. And na-enjoy ko siya. Na-enjoy ko
Yeah,
yung
but
Ghost Rider one.
I remember enjoying the hell out of that when I was younger. I used to keep watching that in my DVDs, my fake DVDs.
Pero there's a big missed opportunity in Ghost Rider. 'Di ba yung kasabay
Definitely.
silang dalawa nung older rider. They should
Yeah,
have
that was such an epic
let
moment.
down. Yeah, 'di ba? Parang it's a letdown na you're facing, I think, sino ba kalaban nila dito? Is it Darkheart? Blackheart? 'Di ba?
Blackheart,
Is
yes.
Blackheart yung kalaban nila. So that's already a very powerful villain if you guys know the comics. It
Mhm.
would have made more sense if they included the older rider with Nick Cage, but I
Yeah.
don't know, budget constraints probably. Again, siguro bago I say the number one is going to be a very hard decision. So there's a lot of comments here. Medyo mas skip na ako ng iba, but sabihin natin Marvel dipped after Endgame. Yeah,
That's true, Patrick.
that's true. So MCU ended after Endgame.
That's
Yeah,
true.
it depends then kung sino kausap mo, but I could agree. Migo on a slider more note, probably hindi pa. He has a lot more optimism compared to
No,
us.
no.
No.
No, I mean, if you're comparing the trajectory, if you're gonna ask me,
Oh yeah,
if you're
yes,
going to
yes.
compare the trajectory of phase one to phase three, which is
Mm,
basically the first one to end game, the trajectory now is so bad.
so
So
bad. Yeah.
so far not
So
good.
Patrick says Maverick was a masterpiece. Go check out
Yes.
Migo's review of it's also very
Yes. I grew a
fun.
mustache for that
Yeah
review.
nga
Please
for
see it.
sabi ko, is it real mustache or di ba
It
parang
is
inisip
real
ko, it is real.
It's
Ngayon,
real.
iba naman ngayon, ano naman, under ano naman, di ba?
Yes, yes. I'm
So,
going for the Wolverine movie
Wolverine,
coming out 2 years from now.
characters are only as smart as the writer. I think Migo would agree because he's
Hmm?
writing. So,
Yeah.
yeah. As long as your movie has the message, I think yung benta, yung pagbenta to, or
Uh-huh.
it's either go woke or broke or something like that. But I would
Uh-huh.
agree. Minsan kasi
Yeah.
bumibenta na yung ganito for some reason. Top 5. Dread, Terminator 2,
Dread.
Expendables, Aliens, 300.
Yes.
Good
Can
list.
I just say Dread is one of the most underrated movies of all time.
Yes.
Seriously. Not Judge Dredd, not Judge
Not
Dredd,
Stallone, Dread.
not Stallone, but Dredd, Carl Urban Dredd.
Carl Urban
That
Dread.
Dredd was effing amazing. It's basically the Raid, but in the world of
There's
Judge.
that begs a question. I think we have another episode for that one. I think we need to talk and invite Patrick if you're up for it. Let's go
For
ahead and
sure.
talk the Red and also the Raid. Yeah, Tatlong Baraha is a movie where Leon Guerrero. Okay, Julio Valiente and Geronimo. It was Lito Lapid's cousins. Okay,
It's
that's
Pinoy
classic.
cowboy at its peak. Oh
Yes.
my god, you sold me the movie with that.
Yeah. So top five ni Anthony is The
The
Raid,
Raid, yes.
T2, Aliens, Vasquez for the win. And Predator.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Wait.
not sure. Is Predator?
I'm
an
actually
action
more of a
film?
fan of Aliens than Alien.
I like Alien
More
for
than
me.
Aliens.
One.
Oh, okay.
No, both of
So,
them are good. Maybe
Aliens is more
because
action orientated kasi that's why I
yes,
think I enjoyed it more.
I think Alien one was more horror,
Yes.
and then
Yes.
since I'm a fan of The Thing, it
Oh
makes
yeah.
sense that I more gravitate to Alien one. You
Yeah.
haven't watched
They're
The
both
Thing.
great movies though. It just depends on your taste.
Yeah. No, yeah. I won't disagree. Both great movies. Mad Max 2. Is it
Oh,
Beyond Thunderdome? I can't remember that.
it's been a while since I've seen a Mad Max movie.
But most of the Mad Max films are good. Yeah.
Mhm.
And they've been using the template of Mad Max in other movies, 'di ba? Parang
Mhm.
it's very influential.
Mhm.
Talaga.
The Raid is also
Um,
very influential in terms of how modern action movies are shot.
mm,
I just want to point that out.
Jerome Paul is here.
Hey.
So dropping by to say hi, share some love. Yep, thank you so much for
Thanks,
being
man.
here. Because he also has his own live. Well,
Hey.
galing mo. Yun naman sabi ko, I can't do that. Hirapan nga mag-type eh. All Mission Impossible movies try to one-up each other. From
Yep.
the insanity of Sons of Tom Cruise does. And also, I think Tom Cruise has almost 100% freedom, creative freedom when it comes to the Mission Impossible movies. So you can't beat that. Lalo na kung
Yeah.
alam ng yung direction dapat ng movie, which is very good.
Yeah,
And
Tom Cruise needs to get more credit actually
Mm.
in what he does with movies.
yeah. So Dread is
Yeah.
freaking underrated. I agree. Too bad hindi pumatok yung ticket sales. For some reason, I don't know why. I mean,
Right?
there's
I believe
there's
it's
a
the marketing.
yeah, it's a marketing. Rurouni Kenshin final
Oh,
Kill
interesting
Bill.
list, man.
Yeah, Undisputed 2. Told you. Meron din nag-agree. John Wick 3. Some reason, yeah. Super Cop, I can't remember. But if you haven't watched the Samurai X live action movies, I think they're in Netflix right now. Paano mo na ba?
It's basically
Not
the Raid in Japan, in feudal Japan.
Yes.
That's how it's shot, at least.
Oh. Actually, I'm a big fan of Rurouni Kenshin and I enjoyed all
Yeah, me
of
too.
those movies. Very good movie. You should discuss this here into anime then, di ba? You have anime content, di ba?
Yeah.
In the
We did
future.
discuss this actually in Tambayang Talong way back in the live days.
Yeah, in your earlier
Yeah.
episodes. Here's a question, burning question. People probably ask you, when are you guys going live again?
It's going to be probably in a while because we're trying to build up our
Tagal na nung 69.
non-live content first.
Oh,
I
man.
know, man. I know it's long. A lot of things
When
are
was the-
happening.
When was
We
the
were
last
also
time
surprised.
you
We were
guys
also
went
surprised.
live? I think
The last live was
Dating
the
Doctor.
no. The last
No.
live was the last December. That was the last live wherein we had a live drinking celebration, I believe.
When kailan in the Batman, kailan natin ginawa yun?
Oh fuck. Yeah, we did do the Batman.
Yeah. I think you guys last live was March. It was a celebration. I know it was a celebration.
It was a celebration though. It's not a December. Probably it's not the December. We
I
did
think
celebrate
nagkaroon
on
kayo ng
December 2.
Yung
We had an
nagbunot pa kayo
anniversary.
eh. Yeah, that one. I think the
Yeah,
anniversary
we had an
celebration.
anniversary. So that was after the Batman.
Yeah. So I think that was the last live, diba? So
Yeah,
swinerte
man.
pa ako na nakapag-live
It's been
pa
a
ako sa
while.
inyo. Yeah, awesome discussion. Visit the Batman discussion. That it could have went 5 hours kung tutusin.
That
Kung hindi nila
that's so
na-control.
true, man. That's so
Hindi
true.
nila
I
na-control.
think 2 hours tayo nun ata or
No,
more.
it's almost 3.
3, yeah.
Yeah. And we barely talked about the movie.
Yeah.
Nung pinakitang ko ulit, it barely talked about the movie at all. So that final battle between Sushi and Kenshin, yeah, that was good. That
Chef's
was
kiss.
incredible. You remember that three of them, Shishiho against Kenshin. I forgot the other two. Tingnan mo. Ganito na ako pagod. The Lone Wolf and also I think Ayoshi Shinomori was there. So
Ayoshi was
all
there.
three of
Yeah.
them, yeah. I cannot forget Ayoshi because he's one of my idols in
Me too,
Samurai X.
man, honestly.
Diba?
Yung anime pa lang, me too,
Astig eh.
man.
Oh, sa
Oh, shit.
anime, astig siya talaga eh. Astig talaga si
Sobra.
Ayoshi.
I like
And
his
yeah.
aesthetic.
So,
Oh, man.
eto, agree. Every John Woo film should be watched.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay, so Nick Cage, Ghost Rider, yep. More of side division. Peeps, please. What side division? I I don't know. Do you know side division? Not
Side
sure.
Division. Huh. Is that a movie? I'm sorry.
Yeah, napaisip pa ako eh. Yeah, just drop it over, Anthony. Ghost Rider 1 and 2 are the reason why I want to get into motorcycles. Yeah. Okay, so Patrick,
Fun.
we'll give you a heads up. We'll give you a heads up. So we're going to
Yeah.
discuss the raid
Yeah.
and
Actually,
also
Patrick, I'm planning to buy a motorcycle in the near future if I manage to get my finances in check.
okay. Also me. Teka lang. So number one na, this is probably the most difficult decision that I have to do when it comes to
Oh.
picking. And I could classify one as A and B. Both of them are Asian films, and both of them in different generations, but also in the action genre. One is more brutal than the other, but one is more iconic than the other. And siguro gawin ko na lang both one because it's very hard for me to choose. My
Mm-hmm.
1B would be The Raid Redemption.
There you
And for
go.
obvious reasons. Migo knows why. You guys have to watch The Raid. Hindi ko na masyadong i-expound because we're going to
Yeah.
discuss it next time. But let's just say, during the time The Raid went out, wala pa talagang katulad nun.
Wala. It was revolutionary. A lot of
Mm.
movies copied the raid after the raid. John Wick,
Even John
everything.
Wick, right?
Yeah.
Everyone, this is
Dread.
very
Yeah.
telling. Yeah, especially Dread. But this is
Mhm.
very telling because we already have established action choreographers back then, but
Mhm.
not
Mhm.
into this level that they
Yeah.
brought into real martial artists to do the choreography and the acting.
Mhm.
Diba?
Mhm.
They did
Yeah.
the choreography and the acting itself. And for some reason, with a very low budget, hindi ganun kalaki yung budget nila sa movie na to, they made it work.
Mhm.
And I could say they're also successful because
They
they
are.
already, yeah, a couple of them already went into Hollywood, actually, 3 of them.
Yeah.
And
That's true.
the previous Mortal Kombat movie, they have Sub-Zero there, also came from the Raid. And I could say a runner-up ko, notable mention, is also Mortal Kombat 1996. May be funny, but it's also
Oh, tell
an
me
action
about it.
movie that I really enjoy. So 1B, it would be the Raid 1. For some reason, for me, hindi ko masyado na-enjoy yung 2. I don't know
Me too.
why.
Me too. You know why I think? Because
Why?
kasi the reason why the raid was special it was because it's very contained. It was very close
Simple, again.
quarters. Yeah, simple,
Again, simple.
right? And then when the
Mm,
raid 2 happened, you still get that the raid choreography flavor,
yeah.
but they really diverted the action into a more dynamic setting. Just like the difference of John Wick 1 and John Wick 2. That's why I prefer
Mm,
John Wick 1 more than 2 is because
mm.
1 is more, focused in the CQC simplicity
Yes.
and how they executed everything. So yeah.
And when it comes to the Raid 2, I'm not saying the Raid 2 is bad. It's good
No, no,
also.
not at all.
Diba?
No, yeah.
Yeah, and just what as Migo said, it was a bit more grander. Talaga.
There you go.
The
That's
Raid
a
2 is a
better
bit
word.
more grander. And as difference with the Raid One, which far more simpler, just inside the building against drug lords, and all hell breaks loose because someone
Mm-hmm.
has their own ambitions. So, yun na
Mm-hmm.
yan, may ambition yung isa, nagkandabanggaan lahat. So, you have a recipe for a good movie. 1A, for me, I cannot not place this in number one. I don't know if you know or have a feeling kung ano siya.
Huh?
It's Enter the Dragon.
Oh, really? Bruce Lee.
Yeah. The
Wow.
reason why I place Enter the Dragon on number one above all the other movies, action movies, so one can say that there are better movies than this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could contest that, but again, personal preference, and this is my list. The reason why I place it number one because again, I say it is a very iconic movie. The way the raid revolutionized action movies nowadays is the same thing what Enter the Dragon did before.
That's true.
We
That's true.
we wouldn't have Bloodsport if we didn't have Enter the Dragon. We wouldn't have the other movies in America. Even Mortal Kombat was based in Enter the Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
So, not really entirely, pero Liu Kang's
Yeah, the
character is
core,
Bruce
yeah,
Lee, di
the
ba?
core elements are
So,
there. Yeah.
core elements are there. If you look it into popular culture, the afros and everything, di ba? The way they fight, even why people love the art of Jeet Kune Do,
Mm-hmm.
nagsimula siya sa Enter the Dragon talaga eh. The way I've seen the history ng why people love. Most people would say na if there's one movie that people would remember from Bruce Lee, it's either Game of Death, pero mas marami pa rin nag-gravitate. Yeah, it's definitely Enter the Dragon.
Yeah.
And all of the characters in this movie, they have their own arc, which is very rare na makakita ka ng hindi ganun kahabang movie and they dive into their individual beginnings. So they have their own stories, and then it culminated with them in a tournament which is more Mortal Kombat than anything. More,
Yeah.
'di ba? And yung kalaban nila is basically Shang Tsung na hindi kinukuha yung soul mo.
Man, I need to
So,
watch this movie again, seriously though.
yeah, and they also have
It's
Bolo
been a
Young
while.
nung bata pa siya. So, Jackie Chan was also here as an extra. Lagi niyang pinaparada yon na he was an extra here. And it's probably one of the most, sabi niya, it's one of the most memorable parts of his career that he got to work with Bruce Lee. And he did say that Bruce Lee was a very intelligent and also feisty person when it comes to acting. But when he does an accident, todo ano siya, apologize siya na, oh, shit, I'm sorry. No. He's still human. He
Yeah,
still
he's a
relates to people.
perfectionist. He's a
Yeah.
perfectionist.
And again, the action scenes here are very top notch. You have to watch a Bruce Lee movie in order for you to realize this one.
Man, I need to watch this
And
again.
you need to watch it. You need to watch the, I think, director's cut or the anniversary cut na movie na to. It's very good.
The last time I've seen this movie, I was, oh my god,
Young.
probably 2010. It's been a while. It's been a while.
Oh, it's been a while talaga. So, yeah, I would recommend if you're not going to watch anything significant the weekend, you're watching Thor. You have to rewatch this movie. And
Tomorrow I will be having a movie bench day with my girlfriend. So we'll put that. I'm deciding if we're going to watch we're gonna watch two movies. So probably Enter the Dragon because that's a good recommendation. We're also deciding if we're going to watch again The Last Action Hero or Face Off or Con Air.
I was about to mention Con Air kanina.
Right?
Pero sabi ko rin sa time.
Good.
Nick Cage
The Rock,
before,
by the way,
no?
The Rock was also good. By the
Yes,
way.
I was going to say The Rock. Diba?
Yeah.
And it's also a good action movie in The Rock. Yeah, it's a great action movie. Again,
That's the
with
best
Nick
Michael
Cage.
Bay movie.
Yes. Again with Nick Cage.
Yeah.
Very funny, but The Rock, I loved it because, again, Nick Cage and also Sean Connery.
Sean Connery.
And I forgot the name ng general.
Yeah,
He's also
he's the
a great
bald guy.
actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the bald
Kung
guy.
tutuusin, kung wala siya doon, that movie could have been a subpar movie if he wasn't the anti-hero of the movie.
That's true. That's
Ang
true.
galing niya eh. He's very
Iba yung charisma
patriotic.
niya.
Yeah. Ed Harris.
Ed
There.
Harris, there
Ed
you
Harris.
go.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Kasi before I was writing a fan fiction list, kung sino gusto kong Batman villains, dinigay ko siya as tawag dito, Black, pangalan ng ano na yun? Yung may skull? Si Black Mask. Gusto ko siya
Oh,
i-cast as Black Mask just because the intensity na pinakita niya sa The Rock. And
man.
if you know Black Mask, talagang sigaw ng sigaw si Black Mask, di ba? Order ng order, hindi lumalaban din.
Yeah.
So, back then, he fit the bill. So, ayun, Enter the Dragon is also going to be part of my recommendation. And, yeah, that's my top 1 and 2. 1A and
Man.
1B.
I need to see Enter the Dragon again, honestly. It's
Mm.
been a while. And it's hard to find good movies recently, honestly. So I need to rewatch some of my good stuff. I can't just keep on watching Lord of the Rings again.
No, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong
Yeah,
with
there's
Lord
nothing
of
wrong.
the Rings.
Definitely nothing wrong.
Nagkaroon
But,
ng this is funny, share ko lang because I'm
yeah.
following on content creators nga. His name is Nick Ricatalo. He had a debate with his friend na meron din sa Green Channel. The name is I think Migtown Podcast. If men go their own way, Migtown. So they were debating which has the better story. Is it going to be Star Wars or Lord of the Rings?
Oh my God. Come on.
I'm going to send you that clip para matawa ka din because they
Yes.
were really debating and then in-involve pa nila yung chat. And one of them got,
Okay.
I think, I can't remember, pero parang unanimous yata or at least 60% voted for LOTR.
There you go.
So, ngayon
Some
parang
some semblance of hope for dark times today.
rino-roast na ni Nick si you got some bad takes here saying that Star Wars is better than Lord of the Rings.
There's no way. There's no way.
So,
There are a lot of
ayun,
aspects where Star Wars is better than Lord of the Rings, but
not
if
as a
you're just
whole.
going to solely criticize with storytelling in general, no,
Mm.
man. No.
Okay.
That's blasphemy,
So,
my friend.
yeah. So, number 1, Migo Delfin, quick friends.
Man, my number one movie is so. Where should I go? Where should I take this?
It's hard, di ba?
It's so hard. But you know what? I can probably put any movie here, and I think people will agree or disagree. So I'll try to make my number one the movie that really relates to me today. Actually, more so today than before. And that's the first Rocky movie. Because, dude, honestly, you can debate if it's an action movie or not, but you know, there's fighting involved, so there you go.
Yeah,
Eat,
it's an
eat your
action
heart out.
movie. Yeah.
But what's good with Rocky is I love the story of Rocky because I feel like it's a story that has not been told well moving forward, and it's a story that most people or directors don't touch anymore. And basically what I'm trying to get at is Rocky is not fighting to win. He's not. He doesn't want. He
Fighting to
doesn't want to
survive.
get. Yeah, he doesn't want to get the championship. He doesn't really want to beat Apollo Creed. What he really wants is to see if he still has the capacity to move
fight.
forward
Mm.
in fight.
Life.
He basically, the line that he said is, "I want to see if I can still go the distance." And if you watch the movie, that line will ring more resonant because Rocky is portrayed in the movie as like a lost or a misplaced talent, wherein he grew up in he was talented, he had potential, but since he grew up in a rough neighborhood, some privileges didn't really go his way. At the same time, he was dealing with immaturity at the time, and he had some life issues. So it was just such a beautiful storytelling by way of boxing, and that championship fight with Apollo Creed, where the guy really just wants to see if he still has it in him to go the distance. Because in reality, that's really what we are. Alam mo yun? I don't know. If not, you're probably having a very much a good time right now with your life. So congratulations to you. No hate. But for most of us, especially for me, we try to relive the glory days, and I feel like it's a moot point, especially today. So Rocky really raises a good question on an alternative on what we should be really chasing for, and that's really seeing if we still have the capacity to move forward and be better than where we are today. Because basically, Rocky thought of himself as a loser in that time. So he
Mm.
just wants to see if he can actually amount to something, go the
Yep.
distance. And I think that's really a good message for anyone, even though that this movie came out in, I would say, 1976. I may be wrong,
Is it?
but
Yeah.
I may be wrong, 76 or 71. But yeah, definitely it's one of those timeless movies that still ring true today. And it's quite interesting when you
Seven,
really think
78? No, 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 76. You're right. Yeah, sorry.
76.
76.
Yes,
Yeah.
I got it right. So it's quite unique when you think about it, because the movie came back in 76, but the moral story and the message still rings true to people today. And it
Mm.
begs the question now. Try to think about the good movies that you like today and try to think if it's going to still be relevant 20 years later.
Oh
That's a
no.
question you need to be asking. Not just to you, but to people who are watching. Like, if the movies
Mm.
today that you like, no judging, of course, try to think if it's still going to be relevant 20 years later, as how Rocky did, because that's when you know a movie is special. It's because it's deeply rooted in the story and narrative of people in any age, whether there's technology or not. So that's pretty incredible for me. That's why I like Rocky. Yeah, even today when I go jogging, I still play
Ten,
the Rocky
ten, ten,
soundtrack.
ten, 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 ten,
No,
ten.
not that. The other one, yung Going the Distance is the title.
Oh.
Yung it's the sorry. It's the montage song basically.
Mm. Yeah, I'm looking at the no, the ratings between movies. Yeah, Rocky 1 is actually another cultural icon movie, to
Man,
be
dude,
honest with you.
Rocky. We're all
Uh,
Rocky. That's the point, guys. We're all
yes.
Rocky.
And, mm, no, 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 not living in America. No. Not that song. That's in ano eh. That's in 3. That's not in ano.
Yeah.
Oh no,
The
4
title,
yata.
yeah, the title is Going the Distance by
Going
Bill
the distance.
Conti. Yeah,
That's
I know
I'll
because I
look it
keep playing it when I jog in the morning, because I fucking have fucking two fucking
up.
works a day. Yeah.
So
Anyway,
I w- I would share my sentiment when it regards to Rocky.
yeah, na.
It did help me a lot when I watched it before, just because of how grounded and how straightforward the movie is. Again, the
It's
theme is action movies, and again, sorry to say, but the best action movies are usually the simplest ones.
yeah,
'Di ba? All of the action
definitely.
movies na pinili namin, except for The Matrix ni Migo, which
Yeah,
dives into, all of them have simple themes talaga that you enjoy, and also most of them you relate to at
yeah.
most. So we could
They're
have,
all basically average Joes, if you think about
yeah,
it. Well,
mm,
Keanu Reeves in the start of The Matrix is an average Joe
is an
until he
average
found
Joe, yeah,
right until he found out that he was actually more than whatever
more
he's
than
doing
something,
back then.
yeah.
Yeah,
So ayun, that's our list. And if you guys are looking for recommendations, you could probably watch most of what we're saying. And we're probably going to give another, ano, siguro ngayon, another 3 picks na meron. But before we go there, you were saying something,
yeah.
kanina, that if we're going to pick an action movie and
To be
recast,
remade and then
remade.
recasted.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so you
Yeah.
can go ahead with
Okay.
question na yun. I'm thinking kung ano.
Sure. So my remake would be Face Off, because I just really think it's a neat concept that needs to be touched again. The movie is Face Off, and then I'm going to put Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Tom
Interesting.
Hardy.
Oh.
because when you look at the original characters, Cage and Travolta, they have on-screen personas and stereotypes, to say the least.
Mm,
Travolta is always the straight guy. What I mean by that is the government guy, the agent or whatever. And then Nick Cage is always like the wacky villain. So the movie starts with them playing their stereotype, and then right in the middle of the movie, they really switched the roles up, wherein it was Travolta now playing the wacky villain, and now Nick Cage is playing the straight guy, the government straight guy. So it was quite impressive for them to make somewhat of an impression of what the other actor does for his stereotype. So I feel like we can get that kind of dynamic with Joseph Gordon-Levitt being like the everyday good guy to Tom Hardy basically like a roughneck guy. So
fascinating.
I think it, and they're also both on for me, especially Gordon-Levitt, a very underrated actor that really needs more material to showcase their talent. And I
Mm,
feel like that's going to be a good avenue for the both of them because it's unique to see Tom Hardy play a straight good guy and Joseph Gordon-Levitt on the other hand playing a roughneck tough guy. So that would be very unique to see.
oh, interesting. I love and I don't know if you watch Bronson.
Bronson. I've
It's Tom Hardy starred as Charles Bronson, and
I
medyo ano
haven't
siya,
seen it, but
it's still
I've heard of it.
action. It's action, but also some sort musical. But it's based on the inmate Charles Bronson, na sobrang ultra-violent na inmate niya.
Mm.
And yeah, probably another recommendation. But myself, I need to rewatch that movie again. I still have it here. Hindi ko siya natapos. As far as I could remember, it was an okay movie naman. When it comes for me to pick, it's hard kasi here comes my dilemma na when a movie already was successful, I
Mm-hmm.
don't want it to be touched again. Alam mo yun? I don't want the magic of it to dwindle out na parang ito yung maaalala ng tao.
Yeah.
But
Hypothetically, Warner Brothers came to you, JM. You're gonna be our director. Here's 500 million to do it. Whatever you want to remake.
ang hirap pre, kung tutusin. Pero if, when you say remake ba, like, from yung pangalan na lang ba yung dadalhin? Or do I need the story to be the same also?
uh, you can change a lot of parts because, of course, it needs to be relevant today. But generally, what makes the movie, like for example, for me, Face Off, there has to be this dynamic of two opposing characters acting differently,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
there's also has to be like
Yeah nga.
the exchange of faces. What happens,
Mm.
between that is basically whatever is relevant today. But as much as possible, it's going to be close somewhat to the original.
This is going to be a very hard pick because right now hindi ako makaisip, pero if I'm going to say if there's an action movie since the MCU is also an action movie based
Oh
franchise in
shit!
2000, I would love to see Tom Cruise as Iron Man.
Oh man!
I would love to see Tom Cruise as Iron Man because not just because yung sa Multiverse of Madness na hype na yun. It's because he was picked before, 'di ba?
That's
Hindi
true.
naman talaga si RDJ
Yeah,
ang
I
magiging
forgot the
ano.
movie that Tom Cruise chose for that. I forgot.
Jeez, he pulled another project on that one. So
Mm-hmm.
siguro up top of my head, you could see how arrogant and then si Tom Cruise as a character na
Mm-hmm.
he could probably pull off Tony Stark.
I
Not
can see that.
based sa face, siguro madali na lang like may facial hair or something. But when it comes to the attitude and also based on his acting chops, I would love to have seen him. And it could bomb because Tom Cruise is not really known for being a go-to actor when it comes to comic book stuff. But then again, RDJ before, hindi naman din siya kilala dati eh. So
Yeah, that
it's
was
an
a big
equal
risk.
playing field. Yeah, equal playing field. And I would include other characters. There's sasabihin natin si James Rhodes. I would pick Denzel Washington.
Oh, wow. That's a heavy hitter.
So, yeah, heavy hitters sila. Kasi you need someone na medyo, tawag dito, more morally leaning. So,
Yeah.
we know yung character in Denzel, he's more into morals talaga. So,
Yeah. He
gagamitin
has
ko
that
yun in my element.
persona.
Siguro yung mahirap lang talaga gawa ng Obadiah Stade, it's kinda hard to pick kung sino pwede maging Obadiah Stade talaga. Because you want someone who has an equal, who could play an equal footing versus Tom Cruise as an actor. Ang hirap pumili.
Yeah.
Ang hirap
Actually,
pumili.
fuck, what's the original actor's name of Obadiah Stane again? I keep forgetting. Jeff Bridges. There you
Jeff
go.
Bridges, yeah.
Yeah. Jeff Bridges did an
Yeah, naalala ko na. I could say Obadiah Stade, I could recast that with Kurt Russell.
Oh!
That's going to be interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Diba?
Definitely, yeah. He had like kind of like that kind of character in Fast and Furious.
Diba? Meron siya eh. Fast and the Furious itself.
Yeah, he had that
character niya.
persona.
So, yeah, I have total control over this project and probably, yun nga, I'll do that origin story kind of similar kung anong ginawa. Kasi it's hard. It's very hard to retcon kung anong ginawa nila sa 1.
Oh,
to be honest with you.
That was a perfect movie.
Yes, you could redo 2. You could redo 3. But it's a very hard task for you to redo a lot of scenes from 1. And as an action movie, it delivers big time. And as I say, what is my favorite MCU movie? Number 1 is going to be this movie, Iron Man 1. And then Captain America, First Avenger.
First Avenger.
And then Thor. And then Thor 1. So, parang phase 1 movies na gustuhan ko lahat. But going back to that, it's going to be intriguing kasi ang mahihirapan ka rin dito is how to write dialogues for these people. How to write a script for them. Diba? Parang, lalo na kay Denzel. Denzel Washington is going to be very hard to write.
I think let's just give him full creative control on the dialogue.
And here's the character Denzel, and then go wild with it. When it comes to Tom Cruise, here's a specific character that you want to play with, but also go wild with it. Just moderate yourself. And then pagdating kay Kurt Russell, just play whatever villain you'd like to play.
Right. Speaking of Tom Cruise, man, there's this one role that really gave me a lot of fun when in 2009 he played Les Grossman in Tropic Thunder.
Oh yes, Tropic Thunder. A movie that you'll never ever attempt to do nowadays talaga.
Oh my god.
It never happened again.
Oh my god. Yeah, I know. It was perfect in that specific moment where everything was still prohibited and people are not really uptight about
now that you mention it, na parang how did we become this sensitive towards
I know it felt like it came out of nowhere. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are times where they're right, but generally speaking, a lot of things that they complain about is really over the top.
Surface level material kung tutusin yung mga reklamo nila. And when it comes to Tropic Thunder, it's action comedy. So,
it's action comedy.
Yeah. May sinasabi din si Patrick. Ay, si Ivan nga pala dumaan. So, okay. Yes.
Thanks, Ivan.
Ivan is here or was here. I'm not sure if he's still here. So we do have the second member of Tambayang Talong. And Watch is kind of busy. May message ko na si Watch. Sabi ko, Watch, whenever you want, pwede ka. Sabi niya, sorry, may gagawin na ako. So, yeah. Maybe next time. Yep, not all my favorite movies are going to be relevant after 20 years. I mean, that depends kung ano yung favorite movie mo. Pero kung alam mo, siguro may papayo ko lang, tawag dito, Jerome, look for other movies. Yun lang yung
What was his list though? What was his list?
Wala. It doesn't have a list.
Give us a list, man. Give us like a list. Your top 5.
And let's see. Yeah, if
let's talk about it.
Yung sinabi siya, ayan, si Patrick, let's remake Iron Man with Black Iron Man.
Oh
Sorry,
my
DJ.
God!
Di ba pangalan niya
Yes!
dun sa Tropic Thunder? Si sorry,
Ah,
Lincoln Osiris, pre. Di ba?
yeah.
Sergeant Lincoln
He
Osiris.
was
That
playing
was a very
a
fun
white Australian, if I'm not mistaken.
Australian. Tapos
Yeah.
sabay, nakakatawa nun, di ba? When he realized na this is not working for me, tanggal niya. Tapos yung sumunod na skin na tinanggal niya is, I think, Neil Armstrong. Di ba?
Yeah.
Basta ba isa-isa. Wow. Those dialogues are very hard to make. You're a writer. Mahirap yun, di ba? Parang
Yeah, man.
pag-iisipan mo.
Definitely.
It's very funny kung kung titignan mo, pero the way they structured that movie, it's satire, yes, and also comedy, pero now that I think of it, ang hirap niya gawin. Hindi siya
Yeah,
simpleng
dude.
comedy. It's a complicated complicated movie. Meron pang isa dun si Matthew McConaughey, another funny
Yeah.
addition to that movie. Lalo you remember the phone call?
Yes.
Les Grossman wants to talk to you, and then minura lang ni Les Grossman yung, yung
Oh
Vietnamese.
my
Like,
God.
oh my God, these people.
Honestly,
These,
I need I'll probably watch that tomorrow with my girlfriend.
yun,
Now that
yun
I
na lang
think
panoorin
about
mo
it.
pagka medyo
Oh my God,
nakakatawa.
that's so fun.
That,
It's
and
one of
Enter
these
the
few movies
Dragon.
that we need to watch again, man.
Yeah.
Kasi, that's true what you said. They're never going to make a movie like this anymore.
Mm.
Sadly, because of the
This and
current.
also The Dictator. Yung dalawang yun.
Yeah,
Hindi na nila
yeah.
pwedeng
The
gawin yun.
Dictator. Oh my
Mm.
God.
Natural Libre pwede pa eh. They'd be able
Yeah,
to do
that's not a
Natural Libre.
problem.
Yeah, that's not a
Yeah.
problem.
Oh
Ano yung
my God.
basketball? Shit, nakalimutan.
Which one?
Si
Like
Jackie Moon.
Mike?
Shit.
Oh!
Yun,
Pro.
isa pa yun hindi na
Semi-pro.
pwedeng gawin ngayon. Yeah.
Semi-pro.
Hindi na rin pwede gawin na semi-pro ngayon. Hindi
Oh
na.
man.
Based dun
Really?
sa, the
Really?
jokes nila, di ba? How they sometimes denigrate yung negro na bida.
Yeah.
They won't be able to do it talaga. And
Man.
then sino yung nanay niya, negra din.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he's
Yeah.
white. They won't be able to do that movie again. I'm
Oh my
sorry.
God.
But we do have semi-pro, and it also has an uncut director's cut, something in there.
Yes,
So.
I think I've seen that before also.
And Migo also semi-cosplayed Jackie Moon. Go to
Damn
his page.
right.
And so,
I love
ayun.
that guy.
Yeah, I love that movie as well. So let's go ahead with our recommendations. Let's give the people siguro 5 na rin for you.
For
Ano
sure.
recommendations pa here. We're not going to run out of recommendations on action films, to be honest with you,
All
people.
right. So wait, are we going to have an exchange just like earlier?
No, siguro ano na yung direction. It's
Just
kind of late
straight
na
up?
rin. Yeah, para makapagpahinga na rin tayo. It's already 12. Alam
Oh
ko,
my
may trabaho
God.
ka pa kanina. Hindi ko nga alam
All
na
right.
12 na eh.
Me too. I thought we were just here for an hour. Anyway,
Yeah.
cool. Let's start with Blade because it is an action movie.
Good.
You need to
Good
watch
choice.
that. I will always tell people to keep watching that movie again because that movie is just simply amazing.
Blade 1,
And-
right?
Blade 1, of course.
Yeah, okay.
And let's go with, since that I've mentioned it earlier, let's go with Face Off. Kasi I think I didn't put that in my top list. And here's one movie that Arnold movie that I don't think people know, but it's actually pretty amazing. You guys should watch Eraser. So that's 3.
Yes. It's
That's
an
a
awesome
good
film.
movie.
Mm.
And
This is actually
another,
very futuristic, kung tutusin.
yeah, with the guns.
And also how he does, how the character gets involved with the story. It's
Yeah.
very Minority Report-ish ng konti, kung tutusin.
Oh, I
Not
believe
really.
I believe you're talking about The Sixth Day.
I'm probably conflating. Pero when it comes to Eraser, I remember this having the rail gun then.
Yes,
So,
there you go. It is the
yeah,
real gun, yes.
The rail gun, and also, ano siya parang he's a for hire yata ng FBI or some
Yes.
division na meron sila that he's giving people new identities. Siguro yun ang sabihin ko. You guys
That's
better
it,
watch
that's
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my other Arnold recommendation, I'm a big Arnold fan, so
Yeah,
Just
me too.
deal with me. Another Arnold movie that I feel like people haven't seen is True
Jingle All the Way.
Lies.
Ah.
True Lies. Do you know the movie True Lies?
Yes,
That
I
movie
remember,
is
alam mo paano
amazing.
nakalimutan yon? Hindi ko makakalimutan yun because that was one of the movies na he used the rocket and then yung ginamit sa kalaban niya, nakasakay dun yung
Yeah.
main villain sa movie. Very funny.
That's a great
Jamie
movie.
Presley is also in that movie.
Yeah, she was
So,
very hot in this movie. Just want to say
oh
that
yeah,
out.
unexpectedly hot. Kasi 'di ba,
Yep.
she's in ano eh. She's in Michael Myers movie Halloween.
Halloween, yeah.
So, you won't expect her to be hot kung tutusin.
Yeah,
You can't see
exactly.
her. Pero once that scene came in,
Yep.
laglag pa nga ka. Yun lang masasabi ko.
Yeah, I was
Mm.
blown away.
Yeah.
Kasi, especially me, I'm a much younger audience member. I know Jamie Lee as a much
Jamie Lee
older
Curtis pala.
actress.
Yeah.
I know her as a much older actress, especially the material I've seen from her are yung mga matatanda na siya. So when I watched this movie and I saw her, parang ako like, oh my
Damn.
God.
Mm.
I mean,
It's-
we're recommending this movie not just because of that.
That's
Okay,
that.
so it has a lot of great stuff going in it.
Oh,
It's
it
basically
also
a spy
has a
movie.
it also has a lot of comedy scenes. kung tutusin. And
Definitely, yeah.
comedy done right. It's
Yeah,
not yung comedy na sinisingit lang for reasons.
yeah. It's
Comedy
not the
dito
James
is
Gunn type.
yeah, and not the Taika Waititi.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah. That they have the same style, no? Now that I'm thinking
yeah,
about
you're
it.
going to discover that on Sunday. So
Oh, yep. Actually, yep. I'll see, man.
Yeah.
My last movie to
No, you have
recommend.
two pa.
Oh, I have two.
Hmm.
Okay.
What's the third
So
one?
I had so I did the True Lies and Eraser, and let's go with Aliens because we've mentioned that earlier too. And
The
I feel
more
like
action.
yeah, and I feel like a lot of people know Aliens or Alien the franchise, but they haven't seen it yet. Alam mo yun?
They
Yung
haven't
people
seen
just
the
know
first two.
about it. Yeah.
Yes.
They just know na, oh yeah, it's the xenomorph.
You
But
know
they haven't
why
seen
they
it.
know aliens? It's because of Aliens versus Predator most of the time.
Oh my
Tinatanong kasi.
God. That's so sad. It's like saying na, oh yeah, I know pizza. From where? Oh, dyan lang sa tabi. Parang, no,
No,
man.
no.
No. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still buy those because I love those.
Of course.
But if that's your point of reference, you need to level up your game a bit. Man.
you need to assess your life tawag dito, your life
Yeah.
decisions.
And last but not least, here's a twist. Total Recall, the remake.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so for me, the Total Recall, the original one from Arnold, was of course spectacular. But I feel like the remake is really not given justice because I don't know why it didn't really hit off. But when the movie came out, I really enjoyed it because the way that they did the story felt more in line with the story that they're trying to do in the first or original movie. I hope that made sense.
Yes.
I guess what I'm trying to say is the remake was a better done movie than the original, but the original is still great. Don't get me wrong.
I think there's a magic with the original. And again,
Yeah,
we've talked about this time and time again. How hard is it really to decide from remakes and also the established thing? When you have a good established movie, or let's say sabihin natin ito, yung Total Recall, it was already successful before, and it's very hard for people to recapture that magic regardless of technology kung tutusin. I think that's why it suffered the way that it did. And when you watch the remake, I would definitely say that it's the far superior movie.
Right, there we go.
When it
Yeah.
comes
Yes.
but the magic of Arnold being there for me,
Definitely.
mas gusto ko pa rin yun. Even though
Definitely.
even though the remake has my favorite female actress Kate Beckinsale,
Kate
it wasn't
Beckinsale. Oh
enough for it to dethrone the original Total Recall talaga.
You do raise a good point though. The magic is different when you see the original because Arnold is there. That's true.
Mm.
That's why I keep on saying that it's still a
And
great movie. But if people don't give the remake enough credit because it's actually done
yes,
really well.
Patrick also semi agrees. I don't feel so bad about enjoying the remake of Total Recall. Kate Beckinsale and also Jessica Biel.
That's
Yes, that's right.
true. That was
At
their
their prime.
prime.
Mm.
Oh my god. Yeah, Jessica Biel. This was her movie after her Blade Trinity, I believe.
Oh yeah, this is a cause
What?
of great
Oh my
concern.
god.
Yes, they're planning the new Blade movie as a PG-13. You didn't know this, man?
Nah, dude.
Sinabi nila to nung nung Eternals, after Eternals, na there
Oh
will
my
be a
god.
Blade movie PG-13.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
like
I'm still
that's gonna
interested.
work.
Yeah, the
It
odds are against them by doing
I
that.
think you'll be interested in it, but not comparing it with the Wesley Snipes one. It's not
Hmm.
going to be comparable because
Let's see.
if you're going to take out the R18 of it, R18 genre of it, it's hard to compare na kung
Yeah, it's
tutuusin.
just like saying Deadpool is a PG-13 movie. It's kind of hard to do
Mm.
that.
Well, Jessica Biel's
Jessica
box office.
Biel's box office curse
Oh, nga,
continues.
no? Each and every time
Oh,
she gets involved, even with the A-Team, pre, the A-Team
oh
should
yeah,
have
she
been
was there.
good. Diba?
The 80
The
was actually
A-Team,
pretty decent. It was
and
more than
it
okay.
failed. And it failed, diba? Parang, yeah, now, yeah,
I
I'm
need
not sure why.
I'm checking Jessica Biel movies right now because I'm very curious about what you said.
And also, Jessica Biel is a very good-looking woman.
Yeah.
So,
Oh wow, she's 40 now? I don't mind.
mm, Patrick Ramirez raises a good statement. Vampire movies will not work in PG-13 setting. Most of
That's
it,
a
yes.
Yep.
Mm.
Hey, don't you want to get a MC version of Twilight?
Oh my. Not bad. Okay, so that's our top five, I guess. While you're looking for Jessica Biel pictures,
No, movies.
movies. Yeah,
Actually, he is true. A lot of these movies didn't really do anything
failed.
in the box
Mm.
office. So yeah, Total Recall, Stealth, which was actually pretty okay.
That was okay.
Yeah, yeah, Blade Trinity, The Illusionist, A Team,
Oh, A-Team, and also The
Valentine's
Illusionist.
Day, and what else is notable here? Damn, that's it.
That's
Wow.
still a lot, pre. That's still a lot kung tutuusin. Because
Damn.
some actors could only get one or two A-list movies kung tutuusin. He's got
Hmm.
three or four in that
Yeah.
list,
Oh,
but it
Texas
failed.
Chainsaw Massacre, 2003. Hmm.
I didn't
Read. I didn't know that.
I haven't watched
I didn't
I
know that.
haven't watched any Texas
Me too.
Chainsaw Massacre movies because I'm not a big fan of gore for some reason.
Mm.
Isn't that Morbius? The R13.
I did not see Morbius because I care about my mental health.
Oh, you're here. So Patrick said stealth crush. Oh, sorry. Started my crush on her. Yeah,
Ah.
maganda siya dun.
For me, it was Blade Trinity.
Hmm. Okay, so me, I'm going to give my five. Again, I would start with people watch. Go ahead and rewatch again. Enter the Dragon. Obviously,
Yes.
going to be advocate for that. Bloodsport, obviously, and I'm just a big fan for martial arts movies. And please watch Ben Affleck in The Accountant. That's
Oh
a good
yeah.
action movie. That's a very
Yes.
simple action movie. You also have Punisher there. So it's Batman and Punisher as brothers, basically.
Speaking of Punisher, I really like the Punisher Warzone
S-
movie.
People don't like that for some reason, but
I
I find it
know.
very, very.
It's
You guys
entertaining.
could, and it's actually much closer before to the comics, kung tutuusin, rather than the Thomas
Yeah.
Jane Punisher.
The
But
Thomas Jane has more emotional beats. That's what I would
yes,
say. But
mm,
I don't know. I don't want my Punisher movie that way. I mean, don't get
emotional.
me wrong. The Punisher series was amazing though.
Mm.
Yeah, but yeah,
You
the
you could
Punisher Wars.
build you could build the multiversal versions of the Punisher at this point. You have three Punishers here.
Ah! Oh my
All of them
god.
are good actors kung tutuusin. Kahit yun sa
Yeah.
Punisher Warzone, he's also a good
What's his
actor.
name? I'm gonna search his name.
Hmm. Ano pa ba? So the accountant is number 3. Number 4, I'd say I'll pick an Arnold movie, and I'm not sure but hindi mo nasama to. The
Jingle All
Running
the Way.
Man.
Oh,
The
I'll tell
Running
you
Man.
something, man. I have not seen The Running Man.
Oh my god. You have to watch it. Shame on you for telling me that you're an Arnold fan. If you didn't watch The Running Man. But yeah,
That's
you
true.
should watch.
That's true.
You
I
should
I
watch.
deserve that criticism.
No, I mean, ano siya eh. And siguro sama ko na rin yung number 5 ko, which is, I'm not sure if it's an action movie, but I'm going to recommend it, Battle Royale.
Oh my god. Yes.
Of course, Battle Royale. Kasi it's, ano eh, parang, it's
It's not
veering
really an
either,
action movie, but it's an action
semi-action
movie.
eh.
Yeah.
2 is an action movie.
2 is an
Battle
action
Royale
movie.
2 is action movie. 1
Oh
is
yeah. That's a
more
war movie.
suspense eh. Diba?
Yeah.
Suspense and war. Pero if you're going to scale it in the grand scale of things, it's semi-action-y kasi marami siyang action spots, but it's more suspense. So
I
the
love that
reason why
movie.
I picked The Running Man and also Battle Royale 1, it's because they're almost similar to each other. So if you watch,
Really?
if you watch the Running Man and you watch Battle Royale, you'll get the themes na, oh, dito pala nanggaling to. Hindi ko na i-spoil sa'yo.
Yeah,
Pero
because
dito
I
pala
haven't seen The
nanggaling
Running
to.
Man,
So
unfortunately.
when you watch Battle Royale naman and you get to see the Running Man, dun mo na realize na, well, shit, the Running Man is ahead of its time. So
Mm.
I bid you, Migo, good hunting when it comes to
Yeah,
the recommendations. But I would, I would still recommend you to rewatch Enter the Dragon pa rin. Oh, above this.
definitely. It's been a while, and I
Mm,
used to love watching that movie. I
Bruce Lee.
remember when I was
Yeah.
younger.
I might rewatch it sometimes and also. So, siguro yun yung sa akin. And the reason why I included Battle Royale, not just because I include Running Man, because I think the Battle Royale movie is also a lost art na. And it
Mm.
cannot be and one of those movies that cannot be made ngayon. Just because of the
Mm-hmm.
themes na meron siya. They use high schoolers, the killing each other just because of some stupid moral decisions by the
The
school na
government.
yeah, the government pala,
Yeah.
implemented by the school. And
Yes.
it also has beat Takeshi as a
Mm-hmm.
teacher, which nakilala din siya as I think The Blind Samurai. May sarili siyang movie which is also good then. So as Migo said, it's not an action recommendation, but it's still a must watch. And
Mm.
the Critical Drinker and also Hill versus Babyface had a very long discussion regarding that movie. I'll send it to you over. Ang
Battle
ganda.
Royale?
Yes. Ang ganda ng
Oh.
discussion nila. Yung one na,
Oh man.
ang ganda ng discussion nila. So, yeah, I think that is it for us. And we actually had an overtime. Ina-expect ko din around ano lang kami. 2 hours lang kami kung
It's
tutusin at
okay.
max.
It's great
But
conversation, man.
yeah, as always, Migo and I always have great conversations. And next time we will have Patrick. We're going to talk probably the Raid and also the Red, and how
Yeah.
those movies actually are pretty similar but also
Mm-hmm.
different. So
Yeah.
what's going on with Flick Friends, Migo? Also,
Honestly, right now, Flick Friends is in a content hiatus just because I don't have the time. I'll be very
mm,
transparent with everyone. So yeah, I just don't have doing these videos is hard, especially if you're doing them by yourself.
oh yeah,
Shooting yourself is hard, pausing by yourself is hard,
mm,
editing is hard, writing your prompts is hard. So technically it's not hard. Sorry for saying hard. For me, it's just it's time consuming.
time
And right
consuming.
now, yeah, time consuming is the perfect word. And right now I'm at a let's say I'm at a crunch for time because as JM has mentioned earlier, I am dealing with two jobs at the moment. So it's really eating up my time. And to be frank, I can't give up my time for working out and walking and exercising.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's the reason why I can't do videos at the moment. Don't get me wrong, guys. I'm the reason why the reason why I took the schedule to begin with is because I know that at some point I will find a happy medium where I'm going to be more efficient with my
Mm.
responsibilities in terms of time management. So yeah, right now the page is at a hiatus in terms of my review content, my videos, but I still post our daily Talong ratings and our podcast with Tambayang Talong, which we have in Spotify. Our latest episode is we talked about Stranger Things, so stay tuned for
Mm.
that.
Yeah.
And yeah, other than that, I still post memes and movie news, at least the ones that I see, since I'm also less available in accessing Facebook at the moment too. So I still post what do you call that? Movie news that I see or whatever that I catch
Yeah.
there. So yeah, check it out, guys.
Okay. Well, kailan yung susunod na na episode for Tambayang Talong? When is it gonna go out?
Oh, so I believe the next episode is supposed to come out tomorrow in our
Oh,
Spotify.
good.
That's going to be the Stranger Things one. And if I'm not mistaken, the Obi-Wan is going to be either posted already or next week. So stay tuned
Mm,
for that.
nice. Yeah.
Because we gave a
Eh,
lot of fair shots on the about Obi-Wan
Obi-Wan.
because yeah, cause come on guys, if you take out the nostalgia goggles, there's really something to talk about there.
There's a lot to talk about there, to be honest with you. But yeah, I just also share people the reason why Migo and I got connected because I followed them over in Tambayan Talon. They used to do the live talks. Yung ngayon nga, they're in a content hiatus and concentrating with their content as a podcast, audio podcast, and hopefully next time mabalik nila yung live nila because a lot of
Oh
people
yeah.
are clamoring for that
That's
part.
always the
And
plan.
hopefully ganun din. But yeah, congratulations also on success ng channel mo and also with Tambayan
Thank,
Talong because you guys are also now part of Rumble Royale for a while now.
thank you.
It's
Yeah,
good.
for the better part of the year, I believe. Yeah.
Okay. So we're about to expect a lot more content. And for me naman, it really depends on what happens this upcoming week. If we get to watch Thor Love and Thunder. Me reluctantly. But it is what it
Reluctantly.
is. It is what it is.
JM, if Top Gun is still available today, are
Yun
you
na
gonna
lang.
watch it
Yun.
over Thor?
Over yes, definitely.
Definitely,
Definitely. But
definitely.
I think the only thing that I want with Thor, because I got burned so bad with Multiverse of Madness, is I don't want any more expectations. Talaga. Because
Yeah,
the
I'm
main reason why we talked about this, the main reason why I got so hurt when I watched Doctor Strange 2, because I wanted it to be good. Even
yeah,
though alam ko pang siya.
I was expecting it to be very good actually
Uh,
from the start. But yeah.
And
But yeah.
let's see. Siguro, let's see if you're still available next week because some
Mm.
people are asking me kung magkakaroon ng discussions over this channel, my
Thor?
channel, when it comes to Thor. Because some of them
Oh.
watch our discussions with Raiji, which I'm probably going to see tomorrow at ToyCon. If anyone will be
Yo!
talking ToyCon, I'll be in ToyCon tomorrow. I'll be
Let him know I
visiting.
said hi.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'll be ToyCon tomorrow, talking to some people, some contacts, some musician friends, and but I won't be staying that long because wala pang sweldo. Sabi nga nila, wala pang sweldo. So, and also, to my beloved, alam ko natutulog ka na ngayon. Thank you so much for also tuning in, guys. So, that's it for us. For all the people who've been here, ayun na, ito. Yeah, the Drinkers Review tour is out. It's
Oh
very
my
funny.
god. I'm gonna
Uh,
save that.
You
I
save
can't
it
watch
first.
that
Wag mo
right
munang
now.
panood. Don't watch it. Don't
Yeah,
watch it.
yeah.
Yun yung masabi ko. And they also had a 4 hour long podcast regarding
Wait,
this
so
earlier
have you seen
today.
it? Have you heard of the review of
Yes,
Oh shit.
I've heard the
Okay.
review because as sinabi ko nga sa'yo, I've been going around circles with people asking their opinions and this went out. I didn't ask for their opinion pero lumabas siya.
Mhm.
For me, yung criticism nila, kaya katulad ng sinabi ko sa'yo, it suffers the same fate kung ano meron yung, yung MOM.
Ah,
So yun na yung sasabihin ko. But
okay.
everything else, you might enjoy it. You might enjoy it. It's still going to be good content for Tambayang Talong. Yun lang masabi ko.
Uh,
Yun lang masabi ko. And I'm calling it right now. Next week, I might have a live discussion. Migo's always free to join up. And I think you might be the co-host of this thing kung sakaling pwede ka. And there's some people also asking me kung meron. So
yeah.
I'll give an update sometime next week kung mapanood nga namin kagad. But yeah, thank you so much guys for being here. Support Flick Friends and also Tambayang Talong. Support my page if you find this entertaining. Bihira na rin kasi ako gumawa. For me, siguro the more solid thing that I could say this month is I'm going to have another gaming discussion with
Ooh.
the losing streak gaming people and probably Daddy Player One. Hope that he's available regarding a video dissecting The Last of Us 2. I'll be talking about
Oy.
it in a story standpoint. They'll be talking about it as gamers kasi hindi ko siya nalaro. I've
Mm.
played Last of Us 1. So kung
Mhm.
sasabihin yung poser ako, no,
I
I've
played the
already
first
played
one
the
too.
first one. And first one, it has a lot of flaws when it comes to story, pero you can't deny na sobrang ganda ng story niya.
Oh
Tutuusin.
yeah.
It's very
Fun
incredible.
fact, by the way, The Last of Us is the last game that I played in a
One,
console. Yeah. Kasi
well, swerte ka. Maganda yung nalaro mo.
the last one. No,
Mali.
kasi
Oh.
pero nalaro ko siya when the hype was already dead. Kasi everyone knew that The Last of Us was already amazing. It was like a year later or something.
Mm.
So basically, the short story is I had some free time after my college years. I asked my friend if I can borrow his PlayStation 3 because I haven't played a console for a decade
Yeah, me
probably
too.
at that point.
Decade. Mm.
So he lent it to me, and with a clause that he told me that I need to buy one game for him. Like, all right, fine. So I bought The Last of Us because I heard good stuff about it, and I played it, and I finished it, and that was technically the last game I played in a console ever.
So Patrick said don't want to play the second one. Don't subject yourself with something like that. The first one's already heartfelt story. I agree. I think the first one then, Migo, if you remember, the first one has one of the best intros in a game.
Oh
Talaga.
yeah, dude. Yeah.
The way
That was heartbreaking.
Yeah, exactly. And hindi ko masabi kung kasalanan ni Joel yung nangyari because it's hard to determine. It's really hard to determine kung ano nangyari dun. But one thing's for sure, the way the intro of the game captured you when it comes to a story standpoint, yun yung maganda dito sa one. It continued on and on hanggang sa matapos yung laro.
Yeah, what
People could
happened in the
say
first what happened with the first scene to the very last thing that you had to do with
it's
Elle?
almost the same impact.
It's
Diba?
perfect. It's perfect mirroring on. That's why people can get more behind Joel just basically killing everyone.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Anthony Sanchez.
Thank you, Anthony.
He's also kung makikita mo yung avatar niya, he's also a big Star Wars fan. He's also a
Hey,
really
wait, I
incredible
have my
Star
lights.
Wars fan. Yeah. Nalala ko nag-Kylo Ren ka pa nga dati, di ba? Yung ano niya.
Yeah, si Swolo. Si
Swolo.
Kyle Swolo.
Kyle Swolo. So, guys, again, just tune in for next week. Hopefully, I'll get back to you, Migo, also for another live session. I'm sorry, Thor Love and Thunder panood ko. And hopefully, Christian Bale will indeed exceed my expectations para sa kanya because that's the only thing and reason siguro papanoorin ko. It's because of Gore, the God Butcher. So, again, I hope you guys enjoyed the evening. Hope you guys enjoy our discussion. And next time, I'll try to make it better for you people. But when it comes to action movies, it's a very tough list to narrow down. So, in behalf of Migo and also everyone else here, hope you guys have a great evening, morning, and enjoy your weekend. Take care. Bye bye.
Take care.